Here we go. Hey
That's
guys, Small Clean here. We are back again. This time we've added one more to the group here. We have Stircore, I think I'm saying that right. And we are back with Chris, Logic Media. You can check him out on Twitter. We got Insanity. Check her out on Twitter. You can drop your handle in a little bit. You got, of course, Tim, the Demotivator Opinion. And you got yourself the Swamp Cleaner. So let's kick right off where we left off. And what were we talking about, guys?
Storms and chaos and death and
yes, and
grabbing pussy,
hyperbole, and Alex Jones and all that good stuff.
Wait, but real quick, just real quickly, Stircore, your name means something weird in Latin. It's like shit something.
Shit master.
What does it mean? Shit master. I didn't even know. Sure was shit in Latin.
No, Stircore is shit.
Stircore is shit. Shit Dominus. And what's the inspiration for being called Shit Dominus? Like, what's that?
Stircore Dominus. The inspiration for that is because I thought people could call themselves something pretentious like Sargon of Akkad, so I could call myself something pretentious like Shitlord in Latin.
Because someone told me once, like,
you know what?
You can't.
Did you put that through like an auto generator and it popped up if that's what that is?
Well, someone said, don't trust him. He's literally called Shit Master. And I was like, he is? I didn't know that. I thought it was like smart.
No. I just thought I did that, and then like I don't know. The whole thing with the whole like I haven't been taking it seriously for the past like 3 or 4 months, and even then when I was doing it, I took it seriously for about the first 3 weeks. I took it seriously for the first 3 weeks, produced some videos, asked some questions, and then peeked behind the curtain and found out the skeptic community is full of shit.
Master.
Yeah, and I got bored.
Okay, now let's end that sidetrack. I just wanted to ask about that. Now,
yeah,
Harry.
No, I do appreciate the fact that you sound like a white British male. Your name's Latin, and your avatar is that of an old Asian man. It's very. I'm not sure if it's culturally diverse or cultural appropriation.
Oh, he's got the glasses.
I love it.
Really
it's a Chinese Lao Tzu.
With the glasses.
Is that a meal that I can order at a restaurant?
No, it's a guy who is the founder.
He was a philosopher.
Philosopher of Taoism.
Yeah, he created the glasses.
Nicole, that was a joke.
Try harder.
Okay, back to our topics.
Yeah.
Storms and whatever.
I was just thinking about, like, you know, the alternate reality that CERN's cooked up where Alex Jones and critical thinking come in the same sentence.
Right. You weren't happy about that.
No, because when I think of critical thinking, I think of Carl Sagan. I think of James Randi. I think of I don't necessarily think of Alex Jones.
Right, but I think Harry.
The crazier something sounds, the more you want to know the truth about it.
Yeah, I have to agree with Nicole here that it's you know, in some cases the messenger, what the messenger provides. Or the author, I should say, provides, and in this case, the author being Alex Jones. You know, his rambles on, you know, the frogs are turning gay and all this sort of jazz, which we went over, can prompt critical thinking.
Yeah, it has an element of truth behind it. He's using the grandiose language, or the not what's literally happening, or the acting side of it, the all that, to actually point you, to point you to the truth, like, or to point you to what's actually going on. So the frogs aren't literally turning gay, but the atrazine that's in the pesticides is just getting into the water system, which is turning nature, like animals in the water system, like amphibians, from being what they need, male and female, to transgendered, where males are laying like sterile eggs and stuff. So,
but that's the thing. Like, if you hear someone say the frogs are turning gay,
you'll be like, what?
You're gonna Google that. You're gonna find out that, okay, the frogs aren't turning gay, they're turning into
something going on.
Here's a question.
So you're kind of saying Alex Jones creates fact checkers.
I-
You know,
And that's not a bad. Is
The
that a
crazier
bad
something
thing? Is that a
sounds, the
bad
more
thing?
you want to
That's
know
not
the
a bad
truth.
thing, though. That's
I
not
didn't
a
become a
saying
fact checker
that-
until I watched Alex Jones, and now I check facts all the time. So he's a big favor to me. You know.
what I want to ask is the question is that like with the turning the frogs gay, has anyone asked the question? Does that actually affect humans? If not, what's the point? You know.
Well, I actually think that his message is like a simple message of the fact that like putting chemicals into water could produce
I mean-
strange effects. It's just the way he
Well,
puts it. It's like
But
so
I mean,
crazy.
if you put fluoride in the water, it actually cleans the water.
I know, but that lowers your IQ.
But
No,
pollution,
Fluoride's been
like
linked to
causing
lower-
mutations,
fluoride's
like
been
The
linked to lower
Simpsons.
IQ.
The Simpsons had
Fluoride
a whole
hasn't been
sketch
linked to
about.
low IQ.
But you know, yeah, I haven't heard of that. But The Simpsons had that whole sketch of the fish with the three eyes and everything, and I think that's that whole thing about like pollution causing mutations or whatever. Just the way that Alex Jones puts it sounds so unhinged that
But the
people are
thing-
just
but
like he's a crazy person.
If we go back to our previous stream, you know, pre Harry's fidget spinner intermission. Jesus
Also, what's
Christ!
that
No
thing
wonder
about,
you
like,
need.
What did Harry just said something about vaccines causing something, or what was that?
Oh, don't get me started on that. Please don't.
What was it? I
Oh,
missed
don't
it.
get me started on vaccines too. They're freaking gonna like give your kid autism.
Oh
No.
God!
Fuck off!
Okay.
Fuck
That
off!
kind of thing, right? So that's where it's like, okay, Alex Jones may have some point about like pollutants in the water fucking up the frogs' biology and stuff, but then it also extends.
But we're also
to, like,
drinking that water too. And
I know, but then it extends to different fear-mongering theories about like 9/11 was an inside job, and like autism is caused by vaccines, and interdimensional gay beasts. I don't know what they are. Interdimensional, like they're in your mind. I don't know, and they
Can I
flip in and out of reality.
can I
Those
just go
things.
back to when we were talking about Chris Christie and Obama hugging?
Right? Yeah.
Just as a point, because although Chris Christie and Obama, you've got a Republican and a Democrat, they're not going to align on everything, but they're going to align on certain things, and they're going to be able to, okay, we agree on this, and this is a point that you know, we agree on, right?
Sorry, someone's playing some audio. It's a bit distracting.
I think it's Sturkle.
No,
Or is it Harry?
Not me.
I got my speakers.
Harry,
off,
you
I've got
playing
my headphones
something?
on.
what? No, I'm not playing nothing.
Something's
Okay.
playing somewhere.
Don't know
What do you
that is.
guys hear?
All right. Well, I think the culprit's been shamed, and they've
Must be
stopped.
me.
No, they haven't.
I mean, there's like a TV
It sounds
on
like
in
a
the background
TV
here,
or a
but it's
stereo or
on
something.
low.
It might be
Oh,
your
it must
TV
be
that
the
we're playing at.
TV. Yeah, it's the TV.
I mean, it's okay. Well, it's on low, but I guess I can just turn it off. I didn't know that was
Disgusting.
affecting anything. All right.
Yeah, I think the mic's picking it up.
All right. Give me 1 sec.
That's an insult.
What I
to
was
us
what I was
as
going to
shit
say
master.
what I was going to
Fine.
say is like I would like to think that I'm correct in my estimation that Obama is a lot more reasonable and diplomatic than Trump is.
Or is that better?
Well, that wasn't the
I
path
don't know.
was
I think
going
it's
down,
it's
but-
going to be based on intent. Like, if Trump wants something, he's enough of a businessman to negotiate and meet in the middle. You can't deny that. He will negotiate
But
his way
that's
through
just what you've
something.
heard. That's not necessarily what he's done. Although he did
He wrote a book
have
about
a-
it.
He did have a deal with the Democrats to potentially erase the debt ceiling, which is interesting.
That was, in my opinion, that was partly out of necessity for what is going on right now with Harvey relief, and then the possible damage that's going to be coming from Irma, because that thing is a
Mhm.
monster right now. Because I saw on Twitter somebody superimposed satellite images from Hurricane Andrew back in 1992, which was a Cat 4 or Cat 5 or something, which is very powerful, to Hurricane Irma. And Andrew was like a third or half the size or a third of the size of this thing. So this thing is a monster. So this thing is going to cause a lot of damage. But I mean, and that shows what, because Trump has been saying he wants to work with Democrats and Republicans to get stuff done. And if this isn't one of those
Well,
true
like Paul
case in
Ryan has
point.
pissed at him because he actually worked with Democrats, and now he's like, what the fuck? We don't want to actually work with them.
Paul Ryan is excuse my language, a limp dick, do nothing, get nothing done. We gotta say, because
he's the king of appeasement, is what he is.
He's touted for how many years we're gonna get rid of Obamacare, or like this DACA thing is unconstitutional, so we're gonna fight in the courts, and they don't do nothing. They just sit by, and if he's the leader of the Republicans in the House, then do what you're supposed to do and lead the Republicans in the House. Don't just sit by and just let things go.
Do you want to know the funniest thing I know about Paul Ryan? Is that he said publicly that Rage Against the Machine is my favorite band, and then Rage Against the Machine responded and said that you're the machine that we rage against.
That's awesome.
So anybody, talking about somebody who's freaking disconnected from reality, there you go.
It was probably right after his whole fucking shoot of him like lifting weights and stuff. Like if you saw that, and he looked so nerdy and so like pathetic. And just like, so he looked like one of those nerds from the 80s
Did he have his
movies.
shirt off? Did he have his shirt off?
No, he's got like this t-shirt on. He's like smiling and lifting these weights. And everyone's like, everybody hates you. And why
he's out in 2018. He's out. He's gone.
The thing is, though, in this magazine interview, he was basically saying how much he adored Rage Against the Machine, like so badly. And then Rage Against the Machine just flipped around and just said, fuck off.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're
trying entirely too hard is what that was.
Yeah. They are, though, aren't they?
Just quickly, guys, in the live chat, I don't know if any one of you know who Big Fat Brian is, but Big Fat Brian said, "Bro, wrench me." And I replied, "No one going to wrench you."
Oh, Big Fat Brian. Oh yeah, he's a friend of mine. He's actually a friend with Rubber. Hopefully Rubber can get on here later. He said he was editing one of his videos.
Rubber's not getting on here.
Oh well. Brian, twist his arm, get him on here, because I'd love to hear what he has to say.
How about we talk about
I've just messaged him back, and I've just let him know that I'll wrench him.
How about we talk about the DACA thing, because we haven't talked about that yet.
We have.
Have we?
We're going to talk about DACA?
Oh, yeah. And I think we talked about it offline before you jumped into.
But we can definitely talk about that now, because that's one of the big issues that I did want to talk about, because it really gets under my skin being a legal immigrant, watching all this stuff happen, and it's just, I mean, and me and Tim, we had an argument the other day on Twitter about this entire issue here.
But so you think it's a bad thing, I guess? I mean,
okay, on the whole, it's, if you get down to brass tacks, it's still the argument.
And yes, I do know what DACA stands for, by the way, because like
deferred action on child arrivals.
Yeah, you guys were like being like, you don't know what it means, you don't know what DACA means, you don't know what DACA means.
You are a master of trolling a little. You are a little.
I know, and I got proud, and I was like, I do actually know what it means, but I'm not going to say what it means just to keep stringing you guys along, because I'm fucking. I just want to troll you guys now.
I don't know much about it, but I've got an inquisitive mind, so I'm curious.
Basically, it's like, you know, kids that were born under a certain age, like, I don't know if they're naturalized, but like they're allowed to stay.
Any small children who are brought here by illegal parents are protected. So if their parents get deported, they can stay.
But it's only prior to like 16 or something. It's not like so there's a certain cutoff point.
I think it's even younger than that. I think it's like 13 or something like that.
I thought it was 16,
a lot of those people have been sitting here now for years and years, and some of these people are still, because Obama got rid of the age cap in 2015, which allowed people 30 plus to stay on the system.
No, but that's basically the point. Is like the people who are on DACA now. They were like part of this gap of age where you could be in the United States, and now that that's passed, like the United States has already said to them, you can be here. So what they have to do is rip these people away from the country they grew up in, and then it just creates a lot of problems, because it's like they grew up here, now they have become citizens. They're
Well,
basically
here's-
they've got jobs. They're getting education. They are Americans because like
No,
they
no, no, no,
came,
no.
they were
I
here.
don't-
Like,
I'm not an American, and I don't agree with that.
you're not an
DACA
American.
was
What do you mean?
designed to incentivize naturalization by
well,
eliminating
Harry,
the threat.
Are
But
you,
what
are
it
you an
did was
American citizen or not?
de-incentivize it.
No, I'm still a permanent resident. I am a Canadian citizen who's living in America legally.
Okay. So
But I've
when
heard
you weren't
there's
born, like,
arguments.
what age were you when you came to America?
I was 17 years old.
Okay, so like the kids on DACA, they like many of them have a lot more experience living in America than you do because they basically grew up there. Whereas you came at 17, it's a little bit later. And I think like you'd probably still be kind of annoyed if they kicked you out of America. wouldn't you?
Well, they can't because it goes back to the core argument.
but if they
I am
did, you'd be like,
legal.
"This is unfair."
The paperwork is done properly. Everything was paid for. I have a green
Yeah.
card that says I'm allowed to live or reside here, work here. And here's the difference between the
But you
DACA
didn't grow up in
recipients
America.
and me. I pay taxes. I have.
Well, so they pay taxes too, right?
They pay a government subsidized tax program where they pay in like anywhere like between $200 to $400 in taxes back to the government. It's subsidized by the government, so it's pretty much the government paying them to pay them back. And
They have been here contributing to the economy the whole time,
but they don't have a social security number. So I mean,
don't they?
no, they don't.
Well,
They're not.
should be
They
given
are.
one. That's what I think.
I mean, what Insanity was talking about before we went live the first time was that that these people with DACA they didn't have any initiative to become naturalized to finish off that process and become completely legal, so they can actually be a full-on contributing taxpayer. Because I pay full taxes. I get around 25% of my paycheck taken out. These people, when they work, they're deferred in some way. Their paychecks are not taxed, but they have to account at the end of the year for the amount of money they make, and they have to pay just a couple $100 in taxes.
Well,
which
I
is
don't
insane.
know. I don't know about the website, but it does talk about the source. It says 1.3 million undocumented immigrants are enrolled for DACA, and they contribute $2 billion a year in taxes, according to the Institute of Taxation and Economic Policy. Now, I don't know how much that is in proportion to how many people there are. 2 billion, but that's it. That's what it says.
They get free. I mean, one thing, they get free education. I mean, and any healthcare, like you did talk about in our argument the other day.
Then Harry, like, what couldn't the argument potentially be not just kicking them out of America, but like changing some of DACA so they don't get all of these benefits, so that they have
why do you think Congress didn't pass anything that Obama wanted? Why do you think Obama had to use executive order to get his wish done? Because they knew that this was.
I think he could see that there would be this like humanitarian crisis of a kind if they had to kick all of these people out of America, and I think
that's not
if you're thinking of
within his
like
powers.
tearing all these families apart and shit. I know it's not part of his powers, but sometimes you have to make a judgment in terms of like what's humane. I don't want to be the person who rips apart all these families.
But if you promise something that you cannot give, and then it falls apart or by the seams a few years later, then you're not helping these people. You're just creating a bigger problem.
Well, then maybe
By
documents
de-incentivizing
reform.
the naturalization process, what they've done is they've created an opportunity for a system that we can't afford to fully fund to be abused.
Yeah, but you can't create a promise to like 2-year-olds who grow up in America and then rip it away without being a terrible country. That's just a fact.
That's
I get
why
that.
Obama, not Obama, but Trump says that's why he's given Congress 6 months, sort this out, allow the people who we know who want to work, who want to naturalize, get this sorted out. I mean, tell them that there is no completely like nonstop coaster ride of you just riding the DACA program. You need to actually push for naturalization and become a U.S. citizen. I'm all for that. I'm all for that. I'm all for the people who want to become citizens, who want to become naturalized, to get onto that, get a green, or even halfway, get permanent residency, and then go for natural, whatever is easiest. I'm all for that. But to just string people along through this executive order pushed by Obama through the DACA program is costing the U.S. taxpayers so much.
I don't know if it is costing the taxpayers anything. I don't know if that's true.
I mean, the
if you'd have to have a
federal
source of
government
that.
program, they subsidize, like you said, they subsidize them through the tax. They subsidize their education.
Oh right, yeah. But that would be about ending the subsidies or changing it so they don't have the benefits.
And that's what the Congress has to do. That's what that's why he gave him 6 months. The Congress has to do
They
this.
do still pay $2 billion in taxes as DACA people, so I don't know if they're a net loss. They might not be. They could be a net benefit to the economy. It's potentially like you'd have to like show me a statistic.
Perhaps some are, but I don't think that that's a universal truth.
Right, but they might be getting benefits that they don't necessarily need to be provided with now
I'd like to
anymore.
add a few points. I mean, like, you know, the alternative for them, if they
Turning
are
up
coming
roboting a bit.
Yeah, your mic's a little bit fucked.
You with your cheap mic.
I think
he's
he
gonna
just
come
dropped
back in.
out. Yeah, he's gonna come back in. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
No, but that's the thing. Is like,
Hello.
okay, kick them all out of the country or reform the program so that they are more naturalized, so they don't get.
And I think that's what Trump wants.
Like.
That's what Trump wants. He doesn't want to rip families apart or all that, you know, touchy-feely think about, like,
That's
oh,
not
the
touchy-feely,
humanity.
it's
Think
just
about,
literally
well, please, someone think of the children.
No, but it's not.
The
right, it's not
immersion,
even touchy-feely.
the immersion
Nothing
schools,
like
the
that.
grade schools and stuff have already initiated immersion processes where they're trying to get the kids and their families green carded, so it won't be an issue.
It's
There
not
are-
even touchy-feely. It's literally just you have to leave the country you grew up in. That's how intense it is. It's not like feelings. It's
It
like if
is,
someone just
but
said, you grew up here, go away now. And you're like, what the fuck?
But they were here illegally in the first place, and then they were given this false sense of hope, which falls through. I mean, so yes,
Well,
these
it's only
parents are to
false if
blame.
the
These
country
parents are to
cannot-
blame. Like, here's an analogy for you. Let's say your boyfriend or girlfriend goes and robs a convenience store or something. They broke the law. And let's say they come home and they freaking give you $100 to go shopping or something. I mean, you don't. If they get caught and they go to jail, you aren't. I mean, and they find out where the money went, you aren't allowed to keep the groceries you bought with the money you stole, or you're not allowed to keep that money you stole. It's the same. It's almost like the same. It's like even though the parents did the illegal thing, even though the parents brought these kids along with them, these
But it's
kids
about
are not allowed to
Congress-
benefit from being here in the first place.
It's going a step further. It's not about like keeping the groceries. It's about them being put in jail for buying the groceries.
Well, I mean, the person who receives the money from the guy who stole isn't going to go to jail because let's say they didn't tell him where they got the money. They said, "Here's my paycheck money. You go buy some groceries." The cops are going to throw the person who went to buy groceries in jail, but
they will.
You're not allowed to keep the money. You're not allowed to keep the money either. So I mean, why should you get rewarded for the illegal
It's
actions?
a hypothetical. It just depends how much you want to like make this hypothetical go crazy, and then I can't win.
Well, I mean, it was pretty much like there was the analogy that was popping in my head to try to make it like a little bit more like.
I think all I'm saying is the punishment is not fair based on what the individual has done. You know,
I
like
think,
the parents have some sins, absolutely.
I think
well, that's why
what is going on is we have to
DACA's
stick to
already
the
been
reality,
cut.
and the reality is there's options available for naturalization. Those are being boosted. And if they're taken advantage of, then there's no harm. The only thing that it does is it initiates a process that was otherwise being ignored. It initiates an incentive for naturalization.
So then these people can become full-fledged taxpayers, can work actually to fully help the U.S. economy, and that what'd you say, like 2.1 billion can actually be put like as a legitimate claim, saying, hey, instead of these people like in this quasi limbo mode, these people are now fully naturalized citizens or permanent residents, and they are now one amongst the same. They're like me, or they're like insanity. They are either natural citizens or.
On paper, though, doesn't it look the same?
No.
What do you mean?
Because you got 2 billion and 2 billion. It's no different.
There's also an employability issue. If you look at most of our illegal families, a lot of them are underemployed, which does harm the economy. That is because people like me can't hire anyone not carrying a green card.
And let's say this, let me extend to that. A lot of people who are in the DACA program or the DAPA program, even though the DAPA program has been cut already like months ago, a lot of these families, since they have, like, let's say the mother was able to come to America with the child and they were able to stay here, pretty much an anchor baby argument, a lot of, like, well, I don't know the percentage, you would have to do some research and find the actual number, but a lot of the time when these people make money, they send it back to the country, the origin, the country that they came from, to the family that's still behind. So a lot of money is actually being sent out of the U.S. to other places, which will never enter the U.S. economy, and is just a detriment, not a benefit.
However, as natural citizens, they would still be sending that money.
But how can you prove how much money is going out? I mean, like, if they earn it, they earn it. If they earn
that
it,
goes back
that
to
can't
the
even
argument.
be an arguing point.
Yeah.
But I mean, if they earn their money, they can choose to do what they like with it.
Wait, I want to hear, like, but Sturkor said that he had some
Other
deep
point.
observations, and we kept cutting him off constantly. So
Well,
I
want it, like, from my observations, I've read a little bit on it, and it says that there's a gross net overall benefit for the economy for DACA. But, like, I wanted to see that, like, the reasons that I can think of, the problems with the program is that there isn't enough incentive to naturalization. I thought that would be part of the program. That would be, like, that would make most sense, is, like, if you have all these people that are legal immigrants that have kids who are inside the country, you'd want to get them naturalized as quickly as possible to have the full benefits of the country. That just makes sense.
Which is why it was implemented in the first place, but it had the reverse effect.
Well, but it's kind of a question, like, you know, is it about them getting the most benefit from the country, or the country getting the most benefit from them? And it just depends on your values.
It's always like a symbiotic relationship, though. It's like, that's why everyone pays taxes.
Yep.
But like what I was thinking as well is that by having this program, it's removing the element of criminality for them to be turning into criminals, because they don't have any option of getting jobs if they didn't have the DACA program.
But I think like Americans, like some Americans, they don't want them there. They're just like,
should we
scrap
the immigration laws? Why do we even have those in the first place? Then, if we can just
subvert them
Harry
so
is
easily. Confirming what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people, they're just like, we don't want you here. We just want you to not be here. We don't like you. You have to fucking leave. But there is a reality, which is that people are trying to get into America. How do you just make them stop? Like, do you have to create the fucking super wall with the lasers and the crocodiles? And
the other thing is,
I'm interested in what Chris has to say, because he's been very quiet for the past couple of minutes, and that's quite unusual. Yes, so, Chris, what do you have to say about
that? Low energy.
He's sad. Fuck off. Not low energy. Fucking Jeb Bush projecting.
Wrong.
No, look, all I was going to say was, you know, this whole conversation is the logical conclusion where we're going to reach is border laws. And so we can talk about DACA, we can talk about DAPA, but I think that there is a definite left-right split in this conversation that we're having, in the group of people who are all talking. I think let's just move toward what the end goal of this conversation is and talk about borders, because that's sort of where we're getting to.
Well, I just want to understand the topic more in depth so that I can have a fully formed opinion about it. Because currently, from what I understand, is that this DACA program is helping kids that shouldn't be, you know, like what's the phrase, where they shouldn't be held to the sins of their fathers. You know, they shouldn't be held to the standard of the illegality of what their parents did, because they have no control over their own situation.
Which is quite ironic.
Which is actually
Oh, something's frozen.
I just want to say, which is actually quite ironic, because the left. It's actually quite ironic because the left love to hold everyone everyone to account for the sins of the forefathers.
I don't
okay.
know. I don't know what that's got to do with this current topic, though. But like, what I
I
was
was just throwing that in there.
yeah.
By the way, the left sucks. Anyways, go on.
What I was trying to say is that they shouldn't be held to account of what the parents have done, and they should be given a fair shake. And if they and they should be like the DACA program should be like in any country. I mean, even in the UK, you have naturalization. You don't have any other program. You just have naturalization. You either do it through you do it through other methods, such as you either get married to someone, then it takes short amount of period, or it takes 10 years to get your citizenship, because if you're living there and you're working there and you've got a work permit after living there for about a year. That's the way it normally works in most countries. I like this DACA program is probably because there's a huge amount of influx of illegal immigrants with kids that have grown up in the country illegally.
It was a reactionary decision, and it was a poor one.
But it doesn't seem to be because of the net gross.
Well, but isn't the alternative, like we're just thinking of alternatives, would probably be like a deportation force of some kind. Like people like running around, like literally just forcing people to leave. And like, even if you agree with that and think it's the right thing to do, like it does have a kind of brown shirt vibe to it. And I think like it's just like America could not help but to be bordered with the countries it's bordered with. So this is like a situation they have to figure out how to deal with while being humane. And it can't turn into some just like hideously violent, horrific situation. But maybe it will. So.
This kind of thing is giving rise to nationalism, and that it doesn't make much sense when there's a country of founding of the country is founded on immigrants. It doesn't make much sense. Like logically, it doesn't make much sense.
But I mean,
if you look
hang on.
They have to build the crazy border wall? Is that they have to do that because there's no other way to? But then that probably won't work, and it will cost so much. And it would, the only way to fix it is with, like, reasonable policies. But I don't know if it's ever going to happen.
Okay, so Australia, much like New Zealand, both of our countries have a border wall, and that border wall is a large mass of water. And so it prevents people from coming here illegally.
No, not in Australia, it doesn't.
Yeah, we turn the fucking boats away.
Yeah, because you get the boat. Yeah.
Yeah, we turn the fucking boats away and we put them in detention.
Now, people call them prison islands. They say you've got prison islands in Australia where they just put people in prisons. Yeah. I don't know if it's true. That's just what people say.
So, I mean, this is what I was getting to before when Harry woke me up from my coma, which was this conversation is going down the road. We're going to start talking about borders, and I would love to hear. You guys are talking about the border wall. Obviously, you think it's evil and hideous, and
I don't have an opinion on it. I don't have an opinion.
No, but there's sort of this.
I'm okay with the wall.
Well, Sturkle was sort of saying that, we can't talk about, nationalism because it was a country built on immigrants, and this goes back to this whole, there were native populations there and the country was invaded by hideous white people and blah, 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 blah.
I wasn't going to go there.
He didn't say hideous.
No. I'm not putting words in your mouth, Sturkle, but this is a conversation we're having in Australia.
He does hate white people.
That's
a joke.
And milk's racist. But
tasty racism.
Oh, I fucking love it. I have a glass of racism every morning when I wake up. But
I don't.
When it's blended
on
with
my cereal.
Yeah, when it's blended with Nescafe 45,
I put
it comes
racism
out nice
in my coffee, actually.
Yeah, it comes out this nice mocha color, which is kind of like, you know, Michael Jackson in the early '80s. So I don't feel too racist.
To be serious for a second, I'm racist intolerant.
That's pretty funny.
It's okay. You're on soy racism.
Yeah, I'm an almond racism.
I just like light racism.
Only racist nuts for you.
Reduced stigma racism. That's what I like. All right, sorry, you were talking. Go.
No, I'm happy to go down a path of shit talking about racism.
My favorite
no, but also,
topic.
like, it's going to come back to borders and everything, which is actually interesting because
No, I just think that the logical progression of the conversation that you guys were having was that we are going to end up talking about borders, and I think that's a really interesting topic to discuss because in the Western world we do have this definitive sort of split in politics. Politics is very factional at the moment. There is a massive divide between the left and the right. And a lot of this was sort of brought about in terms of borders, or at least, at least sort of commonly brought about in terms of borders with Angela Merkel's open border policy in Germany going back to 2015. And then you've obviously got Trump's border wall, blah, blah. And the left and the right really disagree about these things. And so I sort of think that we're talking about DACA and all this sort of stuff. Let's take children out of the equation. Let's take emotion out of the equation. And let's just maybe talk about borders because I think it's a really interesting subject because the left and the right definitely have a divide on this. I'm sorry if I've rambled. Blame the fake Stella Artois beer that I purchased for $6.
I think the only measure that you can do to make the argument be to have some sort of standard of measured of success would be trade. Like, does it stifle or increase trade? Because that's the only way that you can actually measure it as something that you could actually say it works or not. Because of like, there
seems to be this outside a trade I can get on board with, economic policy I can get on board with, but in terms of borders, there seems to be this whole lovey-dovey sort of the world's a melting pot, kumbaya, John Lennon bullshit. Let's hug it out and, placards, we welcome refugees and, like all this sort of stuff.
Well, I think that sort of stuff is like the PR department of the left. It's not really like the left policies or the politics or the actual diplomacy that's happening. It's mostly just the sort of like the face of. It's not really like what's happening to make these decisions happen. So like the motivations aren't the same as what you see.
I'm not saying that it is. I'm not saying that it is policy, but it is optics. And there is this sort of sentiment. I don't think you're Sturkor or Tim. You guys are off the left. I wouldn't say you guys were hard left by any stretch of the imagination. I wouldn't say that Nicole, Harry, or myself were hard right. I mean, I think we're probably all fairly centrist in our viewpoints. Otherwise, we wouldn't be conversing with one another. But there does seem to be this sort of lovey-dovey, feel it out, feelings over facts sort of stuff when it comes to borders coming from the left, which I find rather interesting.
What does feelings of effect mean? Like, what do you mean by that when you say feelings of effect?
Well, feelings over fact would mean
appeals to emotion rather than like statistics and data.
Yeah, correct.
Well, but what do you mean? Statistics and data versus feelings.
A feeling would be like a feeling would be
It
like,
means
I'm going to predict. I'm going to predict
wanna-
something based on personal experience versus what actually happens in reality.
Well,
no,
but
I think it's a disregard of actual
What it-
data for.
What it means in the context of what I'm saying is there's this sort of talk from the left, which is, and I've got friends like this who classify themselves as centrist left. And what they actually say is, no word of a lie, I'm not making this up. I mean, if I could get these people on here to say this, I would. But they actually say, yes, the West should open all of their borders completely and utterly and absorb the rest of the world, because the West is so evil and has destroyed the rest of the world. I'm paraphrasing, but that is literally...
Wait, the Western world should absorb the rest of the world because they're evil? How does that make sense? Or did I mishear you?
That makes them better. Because if they're willing to open everything up. But like
what they're saying is that countries, places such as Western Europe, the United Kingdom, Canada, North America, Australia, New Zealand should unequivocally open their borders to migrants, to refugees, systems in place.
But I get confused. Open borders, because there's open borders and there's controlled borders, and a controlled border is like you can come through, but you have to meet certain standards, and you've got to have like certain, I don't know, documentation, proof of who you are. And then open borders, like what's an open border? It's just like everyone can run through and just go crazy, and it's like a big orgy of borderism, like, oh, we're having fun on the border. Like, what the fuck's an open border? Like, people talk about it a lot, but I don't even know what it is.
I mean, because I live close to Europe, like, the only time I've heard open borders is from a right-wing pundit.
Right, because because if you read about the border between Mexico and America, it's actually a controlled border. It's not open, because if you try to come through and you don't meet certain criteria,
I apologize.
Yeah.
Well, maybe my phraseology was incorrect, but I was merely trying to relay or repeat things that people have said to me. So, it's quite possible.
Harry is currently talking, and I can't hear him.
Sorry, it's that Alex Jones fact checking again, isn't it?
No, like Harry is saying things right now, and I cannot hear him.
Is he
Harry, you've muted yourself, bro.
Is that what's going on? Who is he talking to? Like, this is quite fascinating. We can just like watch Harry.
No, but isn't it kind of marvelous? What's Harry saying right now?
I don't know. Let's just ad lib.
That's a very deep point.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You know what he's saying right now? I've lost control.
That's a good song. I've lost control again.
No, he's lost control of his settings.
Right. Okay. Okay.
The fucking Russians.
By the way, okay. So with the definition of open border, the open border applies to a jurisdiction of people that have an agreement between countries.
Wait, maybe plug and replug your microphone.
Sturcor, you do realise that what I was saying, I wasn't sort of being, you know what I mean, man. Fuck.
Oh, he's gone.
I need to eat.
There he is.
The open border theory is for like places like the UK, where they have different countries, but they're all united.
And
the EU.
Right. We have controlled borders, but we have poorly controlled borders. So what the government is trying to do right now is try and find new policies and replace the old ones. But that does mean removing old policies. because we do need better control over our borders. That's not even in question.
Does an open border mean a border with no regulations whatsoever, and just anybody can just waltz on in?
Can I just I'm having a brain fog right now. All I was trying to say was there's a certain sentiment espoused from the left, not necessarily guys like you guys, that there should be open borders. It's all going to be kumbaya. We're just going to fucking hug it out, and the world's going to be a peaceful place. That there's no difference between culture. It's cultural relativism, and yeah, I'm sorry. Feelings are going to be hurt. The world doesn't work like that.
Oh, okay. This is Wikipedia, but it's saying that it's just Wiki. There is conditionally open borders, controlled borders.
I'm fucked now. You guys are gonna fucking dig into me.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I don't know what the heck happened, but that's why I was trying to say. I was trying to interject and trying to say get in on the topic with the DACA and the open borders, and I guess that's why you guys were kept on talking. I was just like, oh, okay.
I think you're on the phone to somebody else. And was like,
no. Yeah, something was going. What happens is I was trying to respond to people in the chat on YouTube, and it's just like for some reason I must have hit Control or Alt or something, and it completely fucked up my settings over here. But okay, I'm back.
Disgusting.
But no, I was saying I was trying to say the difference between controlled borders and open borders is. Open borders is, just come on right in, waltz across the border, and we'll figure out who you are later. Oh, look, you just disappeared before we could, process your information.
Do you know?
I don't think it's quite like that. I think you have to be a citizen of an allied nation for that to work. I don't think that I could just waltz into England, for example, but a citizen of Scotland could.
Yeah. I think that an open border would be one that it says here on the wiki, one lacking substantive border control. So just be
I'll be back.
Well, that's very vague and opaque.
Well,
I know, because I don't think an open border is really a thing, because I don't think most countries have open borders.
Oh, thank you, Sirkor, for telling me how to fix my shit.
That's fine.
I think most countries have some kind of control border. Of some kind.
What I was going to say is that the open borders is like, you're right, it's like the UK Isles.
You're getting all choppy again.
Oh, fuck.
In order to have an open border, it would have to be your policy that you don't give a shit who comes into your country, and I don't think that
why
is.
DACA augments that incentive for that open border. You can come on in, and as soon as you get here, you'll be fine.
No, because it only applies to people before 2007, I think.
Well, DACA was initialized and people were coming across the border and they were having their babies here. Why did they have their anchor babies just so they can stay here? And then they apply them for the DACA program.
That's not true either, because the child is born on U.S. soil. It is a United States citizen.
But not under DACA. That's just under something else. If there's a different statute or something.
Yeah, that's a completely different policy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I was misconstruing both of them, shoving them both together. But still, that almost seems like it goes back to my analogy of you rob from the bank and you give the money to somebody else, and that person, your parents come here legally and you got born here. I mean, they're still the only reason why you're here is because your parents came here illegally and had you. I mean, I still see something wrong with that. To me, there's still something wrong with that.
Do you want to know what the left argument is for open?
Oh, okay, yeah. It says here they had to
had
to enter the United States before 2007.
The real argument for quote unquote open borders is trade. It's financially motivated.
Well, that goes to the globalist. That goes to the globalist argument.
There's no globalist argument.
Oh yeah, globalists love open borders. Globalists love to play with politics of countries when it comes to the bottom line. When it comes to money, I mean.
But what I haven't finished yet. What I was trying to say is that the left argument for open borders, or whatever you want to call it, because what open borders actually is a jurisdiction of areas that allow free trade and free movement of people. But it for example,
I don't mind free trade.
like for the example, like the EU. The EU is made so that everyone can profit of everyone other's borders, so that you can go through and trade and everything's fine. The problem is that for some reason Merkel took on like an influx of immigrants,
I mean,
and that's been the main issue. But the actual concept of the EU having open borders is fine for everyone in the EU. They love it.
well,
It's good for travel, it's good for trade, and you can go from one country to the next and work from one country to the next without any.
Well, here's the that's in the perfect scenario where the people who are coming
Sorry, back in a second.
Yeah, no problem. The people who are coming in want to work or want to make something of themselves. It's a concept. It's not that hasn't proven itself wholeheartedly in reality. Like when you have an open border, like you said, free trade and free movement of people. Well, like free trade is free trade. It's pretty much like bartering or or a monetary exchange, and money doesn't have any other key motives than being traded between amongst people. But when it says the free movement, when it comes to the free movement of people,
yeah,
there should be a level of screening involved to who are the people coming in. Like, I mean, if they were all just people who want to make a better life for themselves, yeah, and want to, like, once they get in here, want to do it the right way, become a citizen of this country or that country, and then start working, yeah, that's fine by me. But you have to have a level of screening process to allow, like, the ones who are just, like, I'm an MS-13 gang member and I want to come in here and make a gang affiliation in this city, and I'm going to end up like robbing and killing and murdering people. Like, there should be.
But
what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
But the thing is that the key word is jurisdiction. Like, you have an area that you're a party to. So, like, as I said, for the EU, if you're in the EU member states, then you're allowed to travel inside the EU member states. If you come from outside of the EU member states, then you have to apply for a visa or some sort of pass or a Schengen visa.
There's also, like.
And then you go through the same checks as you would in any other country to get into that.
Well, let me just get into when it comes to Islamic terrorism. That's also, having open borders is a detriment, because have you seen when it comes to these Islamic terror attacks, a lot of these people can just do an attack in Paris or Brussels or Barcelona and then slip across the border into another country without getting checked or anything, and it's so hard to track these people down. That's what I'm talking about. The people who are coming in, who are there for nefarious reasons, not for the continuation of the standard of what we consider a good immigrant or a good person wanting to seek a better life. You have to. That's why I come back to my screening process. You have the nefarious ones who come in who just want to do damage, and they have the same ability to use that system against itself to just jump from country to country to country and keep one step ahead of the law.
Sure, but you also have the humanitarian issue when it comes to immigrants that are coming into the EU, because there's actual boat services that go out to the.
But if you look at that, like 95% of the people who are coming into the EU are not from Syria. They're not refugees. They are economic migrants. They're coming
I'm not disputing any of that. But what I'm saying is it's a humanitarian issue, because of the people that are coming in through like illegally. They have sponsored self-funded boats that go out trying to pick up
NGOs.
They try and pick up people and try and like adopt them in, give them some shelter, and then send them on their way.
They're breaking international maritime laws by saying that these people are claiming to be refugees. What you're supposed to do is take them to the closest port of safe, like, passage. Like, they should be taking them back to countries like Tunisia or Morocco. But they're sending them all the way across the Mediterranean to Italian ports and French ports there's definitely more to this than just a humanitarian thing. There's
but the thing is that the governments have a choice of, do I let them drown or do I take them in? And what looks worse for a government is letting them drown.
Oh, the government.
I know,
can't let them drown
why
as
is the Italian
much as they
government
may be.
responsible for people who are drowning off the coast of Libya?
I'm not saying that they are, but when they're closer towards their borders and they have to.
They're not though. They take them all the way across the Mediterranean. I've seen the GPS tracking. It's pretty much a taxi service between Italy and the Libyan coast. They just go back and forth when they should just take them 20 miles down to Morocco and drop them off there. But they take them like 200 miles across the Mediterranean to Sicily or Italy and drop them off there, which is against maritime laws, and it's all done by the complicity of the EU and the certain UN oversight committees that allow this to continue, because the NGOs lobby these government organizations to look the other way.
No, it's not because they need to look the other way. It's because it's a humanitarian issue. It's because
that's a very big gray area. Like, how are economic migrants from countries in Africa a humanitarian thing when they say that most of these people coming are Syrian refugees? I mean, it's false.
It's not just that they're Syrian refugees. It's that because of, if they go back to the original countries that they come from, that they could probably be beheaded or whatever, and that's why they take them on.
But most of these people who are coming, like, even if they're coming from the Middle East or coming from Central African countries, they are predominantly of the religion or the political affiliation of the countries they're coming from, i.e., being Muslim or part of the political group that country is run by. So I mean, how can they be persecuted by their own party or their own religion?
If they couldn't be persecuted by their own country, they wouldn't have run. But I think the bigger issue is that they're allowing them to circumvent a vetting process that we desperately need enforced.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a difficult situation because you've got the humanitarian issue versus the vetting process versus them dying at sea.
But
I don't think that under any circumstance they should be left at sea, but they should be taken to
the closest port that is safely allowed to be dropped off.
A vetting center at the very least in the nationalizing country.
But here's the issue: who is creating this demand? Well, I shouldn't really say demand, but who's creating this vacuum to allow these people to come across? It's the EU countries themselves with their very generous welfare state offerings, that these people would rather go to Europe and suck off the benefits of the government, because once these people reach Europe, you're supposed to, if you're a refugee, which most of these people claim to be, they're supposed to stay in the country that they land in. But a lot of these people will just hop from country to country and get to France or get to Germany or get to the UK. And
on the other hand, you're not necessarily going to be able to do that. If you land in a coastal country, you can't necessarily stay there because you're going to end up with a population issue.
Also, the UK is not part of the EU, so it doesn't.
Well, if the politicians right now have their way, they will stay in the EU.
But I do kind of think, like, how many of
right now they still are in the EU.
How many of us have had to hop from country to country because we're trying to figure out somewhere to live because we've got nowhere to go? Like, I haven't. Maybe you guys have.
I mean, I've hopped countries, but it wasn't because I need to figure out a better place to live. It was just
on a boat, being like, I don't know what to do with my life.
Because if I'm gonna be completely honest, like, I was actually born in Germany myself. I'm a Canadian citizen. My biological mother was a German citizen, and my father was a Canadian citizen. And I had Canadian citizenship. I lived there for 2 years, and circumstances be, we moved to Canada. Lived there for 15 years, and then, long story short, my father had a divorce, married an American woman, and then I moved to. So it's not. I've never had to like. I've hopped countries because of circumstance, but not because oh shit, my life is fucked. So I have to go somewhere else.
Right, because a lot of people are
I don't think you can argue that the Syrians
on
who
the
are
boats?
leaving Syria need to leave.
No,
I just think that they shouldn't be allowed to escape vetting.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right, okay.
But that's
but
the major
then you have to put
component that's
resources
missing.
into that. You have to put resources into vetting. Like you have to be willing to invest in the vetting process. And
yes,
are people arguing for that? Because I don't know. I'm just asking. Like Trump and shit.
centrists are, but we're
Centrists
way
want
too
the vetting.
ignored.
Oh, by the
You're
way,
a centrist. Oh no!
by
One
the
of
way,
them.
Exactly.
by the
Sorry,
way,
I think
Chris,
they're
you're
demonized
muted,
these
by
days.
the way. I don't know why, but you're muted.
I think he just doesn't want to be heard.
I don't
That's no
buy
opinion.
into centrism. I don't buy into it at all. I don't buy into centrism.
Well,
Yeah, I
that's
wanna
because
tell
you-
that's
what-
because the political spectrum has been so polarized. Being a centrist is like being on the top of a peak. Like you have to like stand tippy-toed. Otherwise, if you fall one way or the other, you're just like in the camp of the left or the right. So that's why
I genuinely feel like centrists, like just in general, not all of them, lean right. Like they and they're not willing to admit it.
They
They're
placate.
just like
They
yeah,
I
they
do
generally
lean
are just
right.
like-
But
Well,
I lean right
I
because
told
the
you.
the line for the left has moved so far. 10 years ago, I would have been a liberal.
10 years ago I
okay.
was a liberal.
Is there a difference
can
between
I-
you
can I-
being a centrist and an independent? Independents are different, right?
I'm going to grab a refill. I'll be
Or
right
a
back.
moderate. Moderate,
Independents
centrist,
are
independent.
yeah. Centrist and independent is kind of the same term. It's you don't want to fall into a category, so you register as an independent, which means that you can take any policy that you see fit. You don't have to fall in with party lines. And the centrist position is we're looking at whether you're centrist on the left or centrist on the right, you're looking at every scenario independently and trying to decide what would be best not only for the people but for the nation as a whole.
Could I
And
drop?
that's where you land.
Could I drop
But they
some
lean
truth?
right, I guess.
Could I drop some
Can I-
truth nukes? Can I just drop some truth nukes about centrism for myself, for my opinion about
You're
centrism?
just gonna make everyone
I'm bracing myself
unsubscribe
for the
from
truth
Harry's
bomb.
channel. That would be very nice. He's trying to build a following.
Right. Okay. So my thing about centrism is that I don't buy into it at all because a few things have signified to me that centrism is a bit bull. Is that there's no first things first. There isn't a party that you can vote for that's centrist. So you can't exactly. You can't.
Neoliberals.
You can't
Well,
put
no,
like you can't
Centrist
put
would
your,
have you registered as an independent, which means that you are bipartisan.
But like what I'm saying is you can't put your vote into a ballot and then it count for something and go towards a party that may possibly win or not.
Tony Blair.
No.
Yes, you can.
Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, but I think the problem with that argument is that politics is about compromise.
Well, that's
So
what I'm
not
saying.
not
No, but
every party or every politician's position or agenda is going to align with our individual positions or agendas. It's about compromise. We have to look at, okay, well, yeah, I don't like 10 or 15% of what they're saying, but the rest of it, yeah, I'm kind of cool with, and you've got to roll with that. But on a personal scale, or on a personal level, I should say, that defining yourself as a centrist does work. I would define myself as a centrist. I would not. I in political shorthand, because we must use political shorthand if we're talking politics day in and day out. So we have to say you're right, you're left. So it's easiest for me to say that I'm on the right, but if you look at my Twitter bio, I'm conservative/libertarian, and yeah, that will put me to the right, but I'm very socially liberal. So I'm very, very socially liberal, and I'm very conservative fiscally.
Now we're talking about the political version of 50 Shades of Grey here.
But what my point is that from what I understand about centrism and the way people have acted with centrism, is basically that you're basically saying I'm an informed voter. You're not saying you're just saying that I'm a voter like everyone else, but I make choices. I make choices based on. But that's not really like a political stance. It's just like everyone else who votes. It is
a political stance. It's a political stance saying that I will not be led by a party. I will be led by myself. And that's a very powerful political stance because it takes balls to say I'm not going to follow the leader just because he says so.
Yeah, I know, but
I agree with Nicole entirely that. And I think she'll probably agree with me on this, that based on what she said, I'm not going to accept bullshit from the right. No, I'm not going to accept bullshit from the left or bullshit from the right. I define as right-leaning. I define as a right-wing person. I mean, you know, MAGA all day, 4D chess, whatever. But I'm, you know, if Trump does something that I hate, I'm going to hold him to the same account that I would a Democrat.
Definitely. I mean, a couple weeks ago, Tim and I were having a different discussion, and I told him there's one big thing that I don't like right about now with Trump is how he's trying to handle the whole Afghanistan issue. And he's like, all right, you have one...
Yeah. Well, because I said to you, is there anything that you could criticize Trump on, or is he always perfect?
No, he's not. He's only human. He's not perfect, but like there's so many things he's doing good. But I just do not like how he wants to handle Afghanistan.
Tim,
and the quick thing, Simon's
Simon's
going to
the
pop
mother
on.
of all bombs or whatever.
Simon's going to pop on shortly, so he'll be on.
Mr. Simon, I don't know who that is, but
my boy, Sim Rob.
Who's Simon?
But what?
To brush my hair.
I think he just had a brogasm.
I did.
To
Just
brush
get
this
back to the
shit.
point about like the centrism thing, because if you said you have to make compromises, you still have to choose a left or right party. Like when
No, you don't.
Or you don't vote.
Eventually,
and then,
what you'll do is...
Or you don't vote. And
if you vote.
Useful. Yeah, if you vote. But like then if you don't choose to vote, then it's kind of like, well, you've like not helped anyone.
But
when you vote, what you do is you follow the party that is closest to what you can get behind. If you are a registered Democrat, then the only people that are going to appear on your ballot are Democrats. Well, you may not agree with 50% of those Democratic policies.
Oh, sure.
It's same for Republicans. A registered independent has everybody appear on their ballot. So they inform themselves on those people and those policies. They can follow the person and vote for the person who most closely represents their own values and their own political standing.
So you know what, and I'm just going to throw this out there, as a person who's not able to vote yet, and I will only do that after naturalization, become an American citizen, I still believe that I'm going to register as an independent because, I mean, who knows, a Democrat could come up with a good idea that I like, and I want to vote for them to push out. I mean, I'm not saying I'm a single issue voter, but I mean, I look at all sides.
But how do you feel about the fact that Bernie called himself an independent? Like
he's now see he's not.
Bernie was a freaking socialist.
Yeah, he's like the furthest left you can go in American politics.
No, we're not talking about him being a socialist. We're talking about whether he is a Democrat. We're not talking about like him being a socialist. Like you can be like he's bad because he's too left or whatever, but he didn't want to join the Democratic establishment.
My opinion of what an independent is somebody who is of the centrist mentality, who has a libertarian mentality.
No, that's bullshit. No, an independent can be anywhere on the political scale. It's just a matter of not being part of the parties. Like if you're not a Republican, You're not a Democrat. You're an independent. You're off doing
That is
something
true.
else.
Well,
It can be way to the left. It can be way to the right.
integrate-
You know.
I correlate that with the libertarian.
No,
the
because- no,
independent
because-
is someone who doesn't fit in
No.
the nice little neat box.
No, because
And
he can
that's
be a
what it comes down
socialist. He
to.
can be like he's way too left, but he didn't want to join
Too
the
left for the
Democratic establishment.
Democrats. I don't
Well,
know if
like
that's
Hillary
possible if you
Clinton.
be too far left for the Democrats.
Hillary Clinton was basically like he's a traitor to the Democratic Party, and he was trying to destroy
smearing, that's all
us
that
winning.
was.
You
It
know,
was- it
like
was just-
she was trying to destroy him. You know,
I mean, just like at the start of this stream, Insanity was saying that's just a smear, and it's just like
but
it's just a campaign talking point, just to
Right, but that-
muddy the waters to
but
get
that's
your
why I think,
opponent to lose.
being an independent is very interesting, whether you're on the left or the right, because you're outside like the regular paradigm, and people don't know how to deal with you. And maybe like what the fuck's that guy called? The libertarian guy, not Ron Paul, but the other one,
Gary Johnson.
Gary Johnson. You know, he's kind of
What
like
is Aleppo? What is Aleppo?
yeah, he's somewhat out of the paradigm as well. Like he's an independent, but then people learn about him and they're like, he seems kind of insane. But he isn't part of the whole.
Well, hang on. That whole meme of Gary Johnson being insane or Gary Johnson being uneducated is purely because of the Aleppo guff. I mean,
well, people feel the
just-
same about Bernie.
I was just about to say-
Bernie's a crazy
No,
socialist. He's the
no, but the
madman.
thing is, how many? This is what really frustrates me about the whole Aleppo saga with Gary Johnson. How many people knew? I mean, given that in his position he should know, but
He was
How many
he was
people-
uninformed
how
because
many,
of
how
being
many
an
people knew? How many people knew that Aleppo was an actual place and not a strain of weed before Gary Johnson made that gaffe?
Well, but
I'd
also
say
his policies.
if you want to put a percentage on it, I'd say maybe like half, maybe actually over half, maybe 65% of the people in America don't know what Aleppo was. But let me just, before Tim, I'll let you talk, Tim, but I'm just going to say that being an independent, like, it puts you at a disadvantage because of how polarized everything is. Everybody, I know what a Democrat is. I know what a Republican is. But people are just like, they don't know what an independent is. So it was even though it was a gaffe and like it was pretty much, it's not his fault, and I understand that it's almost like what we were talking about in the previous stream. Like you hold the president up to a higher standard, people will scrutinize an independent more than they would scrutinize a Republican or a Democrat. So you really have to know what you're talking about if you're going to be an independent to be successful.
Yeah.
I just wanted to finish my point about like the centrism thing, if that's all right.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
I
Go for it.
actually I completely forgot Sturcall because I did actually
Sorry.
want to follow that up with you, brother.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Of course,
Bro.
on this
Go right ahead.
centrism thing, and we keep going off on tangents.
And then we had New Zealand. What's his name? Who's the singer that I keep referring you?
Well,
to
here,
US and
let's
New Zealand.
let's have stir talk here.
I didn't
Go
even
ahead.
The thing is about centrism, and the way I viewed it is that the end sum game is that you have to vote left or right. The end sum game is that you have to vote left or right. You can't
You
vote
do,
center.
but you're not.
Because it's
You
so
can't vote
polarized.
center.
You
So-
have the choice. Is the difference? Yes, in end game you're voting left or right.
Sturcall's about to
But-
say something really deep, and he has to finish to say the deep thing. That's my understanding.
Yeah, so
Sure.
you have to vote left or right, and
Now you're being a robot.
oh, for fuck's sake!
Oh no!
Never
A
like
fucking broken
you know
robot.
what? This stream is good. I like that because we have two people. We have pretty much a lot of people. Two people on the right, and I'm going to say it's me and Chris.
Hello.
We have Insanity, who is pretty much a centrist, and then we have
I'm-
Tim and Stir, who are of the
I'm
liberal
way
mentality.
on the left, but I'm not a very argumentative person.
I love this
fight
stream
with
because it's
people.
so diverse, and that's
I don't want to
like.
fight with people. The moment I get back on Twitter, I'm gonna be like the most hardcore left. wing
I know.
motherfucker,
Well,
but,
like we'll be
hang on,
arguing.
I think
right after
this.
the stream, but anyway,
I actually think, and I don't want to interrupt Sturcore, and I don't want to interrupt Harry, although I did, motherfucker.
fuck you. No, I'm kidding.
Suck my dick and suck my toes. But
now
I
it's
think
getting interesting.
I think the fact.
No fetish.
Harry and I,
Anyway,
the things we do online, but I think the great thing about this is that it does come back to that. It does come back to that whole fat man, bloody I don't like political optics hugging Obama, because guess what? We're all human, and we all and people of reasoned minds who can communicate with one another, even though we don't necessarily align politically. Man, we can all get along. We can all have a shit talk. We can all just communicate freely, and that's what's really beautiful. And like you were going to say, Tim, as soon as you go back on Twitter, you're going to start flaming Harry again.
and I'm going to come after him. Yeah.
And Tim, quite frankly, I think I'm probably going to join your side because
Traitor.
I just think Harry needs some flack.
Traitor.
On Twitter, you'll be like, that guy's a jerk because
Well,
he'll see
as
what I'm
Alex Jones says, if you're not on target, you're not receiving flack. So
Damn it, I just need to annoy more people, so that's the whole point.
I'll be back in 10
seconds. Guys, Sturcore, man.
Yes, hello. So what I wanted to say is that the end
Well, hang on. Just hang on, wait. Harry's I think Harry's gone to touch himself based on those previous comments that I made. So
I don't think Sturcore's ever going to
Give
get the
him
chance to
13
finish his
seconds.
point.
Yeah.
No. Sturcore's going to finish his point, but I think we have to let Harry finish.
Did he have a point, or do you mean like finish what he's doing?
Yeah, I think Harry needs to finish I think he's a little bit worked up right now.
I think he's washing his toes.
Worked up? What does that mean? That could be a metaphor for just about anything.
Well, it is a fucking metaphor, mate.
all right, as the arbiter of the stream, I allow Sturcore. Please, sorry, we're getting off on our tangent again. Please talk. Please, what you're talking about. We want to hear
So
it.
what I was going to say is that the end sum game of being a centrist is that you have to vote left or right, and you have to make compromises based on what you align with the most. And that makes me feel like, or makes me understand the voting process as like everyone else who ever is a voter in existence. So how is a centrist being any different than having all the options available to you that everyone else does? It doesn't make any sense to me. It just like, it's like saying I'm a special snowflake.
No. When you receive your ballot, you actually have different choices.
Wait. Wait, Sturcore.
You have more
say
options.
something like they can't commit. Is that what you mean? Like to one side or the other?
No. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that you all have the same. We all, as voters, we all have the same opportunities available to us. So why are you saying that you're a centrist if we all have the same opportunities to us?
I think I know what you're saying. Yeah. When you say special snowflake, you mean like a centrist is saying, like there's something about me which makes me above the general process.
Yeah.
Like I understand things more than anybody who's committed to the left or the right for some reason.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I'm a more informed voter than Yao.
even if they're not, like it's just by default. I understand everything better.
Yeah. It just seems pretentious. It seems pretentious, and it doesn't.
Maybe. I think mostly it's the desire to inform yourself.
Well, those are the two
follow
options.
Along party line.
Centrists are either better informed than everyone else, or they just can't decide. It's one of the two. Like they're either much smarter than everyone, or they just can't commit. Like which one is it?
They're straddling
issues.
But the thing is,
this is the thing. What's the alternative? The alternative is we're living in a very, very divisive, factional we're living the political break right now is very it's very factional, it's very divisive, and so I think it's actually advantageous for someone to refer to themselves as a centrist, someone to be balanced, and someone to go, I can absorb, adopt, and wish to see enacted a centre left and a centre right position. What's wrong with that? I don't think.
But does that mean can't commit? Like they can't commit to a specific?
No, I don't. No, because hang on. If we go back to what I said earlier, that I am fiscally right. I'm on the right politically. I'm very conservative. In terms of social issues, I fall to the left. Now, I fall centre left on social issues. I fall sort of middle right on economic and fiscal issues. Now, does my picking when I go to vote, does my picking candidates or political parties, even outside of the two major political parties?
Simon's on the way. Sorry.
Cool. Does that make me flaky? Does that make me someone who's undecided? I think I'm pretty well sort of strong in my political beliefs. Does that make me weak, or does that make me?
No. I'm just saying that you have the same freedom of opportunity that everyone else does. So why does it make you different calling yourself a centrist?
Well, are you saying like independent versus centrist?
No, but
you could easily just call yourself an independent, rather than a centrist. I mean, you could call yourself a centrist, but like functionally, what's the difference between a centrist and an independent? Is there one?
Well, but what I'm trying to say is that even though you call yourself a centrist, you have to vote. You have to vote to the party that appeals to you the most. Your freedom of choice.
Lack of choices. Yeah.
Yeah. Your freedom of choice is still there. It's still available to you, just like it is to everyone else.
Well,
Why?
Yeah, a freedom of choice was like a limited freedom of choice.
Yeah. But like it doesn't make sense to call yourself a centrist when you have the same.
Well, yeah, we got about 4 choices: Greens, Labour Party.
Well, the thing is that I would not go out in the street and refer to myself as a centrist. As I said, political shorthand. If I was out in the street and someone asked me where I lay politically, I would say that I'm right-wing, that I'm conservative. And that goes back to my point about using political shorthand, because it's much easier. And then, if I was to have a conversation with that person, I could expound on that and say, okay, well, socially, I'm quite liberal, fiscally, I'm quite conservative, yada yada yada. But
hello, Simon.
There is so much. There is so much. I mean,
greetings all.
Example, can I give you guys a very sort of at-home example right now? I'm 100% for same-sex marriage. So that is not a conservative position. That's a very liberal
So you're
position.
socially liberal.
Yeah, so I'm 100% for same-sex marriage. But the battle that we're having here currently in Australia is
vaccine.
I mean, you would probably know this, Tim. I know Harry knows this because Harry and I talk a lot. Nicole may know this somewhat. Simon's he's busy playing video games in his racing chair. But
what is that?
My man.
Thing.
He's got a fucking racing chair. But so
I want to get one of those.
like I'm 100% for same-sex marriage. But the battle that we're having in this country at the moment is kind of crazy because we've got all these left-wing activists and all the I can't really go into detail about it, but the thing that comes down to is it's actually, you know, as much as I am so pro-gay marriage, the agenda which has already been pushed into the marketplace, into schools, etc.
It's shoved down your throat.
No, well, what's happened is, if we were
It's
having
more
this
like snuck in the
conversation,
back door, actually, Harry. Oh, sorry, I just realised what I said. I meant that sincerely.
no, actually, I'm not really conveying the point properly, Simon. So I think, can you probably pick up where I'm failing right now?
I kind of lost track of what the hell you're.
But before we go on to that, I just want to.
Yeah, no, I'm fucking rambling. I'm ruining this whole story.
You're
I just
drinking
wanted to-
too much.
I fucking ruined it.
I just wanted to
drinking
ask
too
if you understand my logic behind what I think about centrism.
Yeah, you think that it's kind of a wibbly wobbly standpoint because one way or the other you're going to have to pick a side.
Yeah.
But I think it's the ability to be wibbly wobbly, which is the entire point.
Right. Well, my problem with centrism is that they say that being a centrist automatically makes you smarter, as if someone on the left or the right cannot, like.
No, Tim, can we say open? Open. I think open's a far better word to use there.
Yes.
Well, yeah, but I'm just talking about like the attitudes of centrists I've talked to. You know, like they're basically just like, because I'm a centrist, I can understand both sides better than anybody else. Whereas, like, if you're on the right, you can still understand the left to a certain extent, and if you're on the left, you can still understand the right to a certain extent.
But I think
It's easier to criticise your own side because you haven't taken one, so to speak.
No, but
It's
but the
slightly
problem
right.
with centrism is if one side is worse than the other side, you're not going to be able to tell that because you're going to think all of it's equal. There's fault on both sides, like, you know. So if one side has been worse than the other side,
Always
Well,
fault on
you're
both
not going to be able to
sides.
say it.
Well,
My experience
No,
of
we can't.
No, you just
prescribe-
pile all their good
that's
ideas and bad
relativism. That's
ideas on a scale.
relativism, though.
We
I mean, you
can't
can't
prescribe-
make a
I don't know.
choice
Whoa,
because of relativism.
Too many people.
You can't make
That's like
a
who's
choice on
talking?
relativism, though. You have to weigh whatever side is left the more wanting. Like, you have to like make a choice. I mean, that's that we go back to the whole wibbly wobbly, and then
you know, Harry, you're someone on the right, so I'm sure, like, if the right was more correct, you would want someone to admit it and be like, the right is more correct at the moment.
And
But
when we
centrists
which I
can't
do
really-
believe, but when we do that, we get vilified for saying, "Oh no, of course not."
No, but
So-
centrists can't really do that because they can't figure out who is more correct. Because they're always like, oh, it's just in the middle. Like, it's just like a fucking middle fairy ground.
I don't think that if they
Tim,
can't figure out who is
so-
more correct, I think it's that they have taken a position where they're like, both of you are just wrong enough that I'm not going to pick a side here.
But they can always say that. They
think
can
everybody
easily
has
just
their
say, like,
shortcomings. Yeah.
ew, everybody's wrong. I'm so smarter. You know, I don't
I
know.
know, like I rise above it all because I don't pick an affiliation.
But you're definitely on the right, and I'm definitely on the left. And I think, like, you know, I appreciate the fact that I understand, Harry, that you're on the right, and like it's like, all right, I know where you're coming from.
And I
But, like,
and the
sometimes-
same
Hey,
with
Tim,
you on the left.
Tim,
I
Tim,
enjoy the
Can I tell you how I vote?
arguments and the conversations.
Yeah.
my
Exactly.
my experience of centrists is that they're politically schizophrenic.
Yeah, they're all on that show.
And at the same time, they would placate to the right most of the time whilst bashing the left all the time.
No, but maybe we're due. Like, maybe the left is due at a certain point to be more loved by centrists. Like, I don't know when it's going to happen. Hopefully
like,
soon.
But the thing is,
No, but I think when we talk, I think there's a misunderstanding here that people who are centrists are, you know, sort of right down here, like in the middle.
It's a peak.
Yeah.
Like it's
When-
a point here.
Yeah, so Harry's right. So when we're talking about centrists, we're talking about there's the center. We're talking about center right, center left. And so when people talk about being centrists, I would describe myself as center right. And I think Harry would be a center right person as well.
You're not
if
a
you take that,
centrist then,
if
you're on
you
the
take
right.
that, if you take that,
Because otherwise, you know, because I think all of us are of the center, because otherwise we wouldn't be having this conversation.
yes,
The people in this conversation right now who are on the left are center left. The people who are in this conversation right now who are on the right are center right. Because otherwise we would be throwing glass bottles at our webcams.
I know,
no.
because you take that test, you take that political test that has like in the 4 quadrants, and I guarantee you,
Political
pretty much
compass,
everybody,
political
political
compass.
compass. I'm going to assume that everybody here has taken that test, or maybe one person hasn't, and I assume that whenever we fall under that, we're either like right next to the center, and either on the left or the right.
I'm not freaking Gandhi.
I'm not either, and I don't want to be. I don't want to fast for 2 weeks and be a freaking stick.
My political stance is
Maybe
that
I should try that.
my political stance is that I'm fighting on the left side because of it's just annoying to loads of other people that don't understand left positions.
All right, well, I'm going to supersede everybody. Simon. I'm going to supersede Simon. What do you think? What do you think about this, Simon? I want to get your input, Simon.
All right, well, let me give you some very simple perspective. As a centrist, how do I vote? It's really, really, really easy. Who's got the most adults in charge? That's it. And if you don't have enough, I don't vote at all. And that's another way of sending a message to them.
What do you mean adults?
It's that simple.
I'm thinking he's talking about like who doesn't let petty squabblings, and who's looking for the real solutions to come to the surface.
Yeah, pretty much. Who's being more adult about speaking about solutions and also identifying problems that we face? That's pretty much it.
So who's the most mature?
Yes, exactly.
Is there someone here reasonable enough to get something done? I voted for Obama, but then this election rolled around and I voted for Trump.
You're one of those many Democrats, or I mean, you're not a Democrat. I'm one of those many people who voted for Trump. I mean, voted for Obama like once or even twice, who came to the Trump camp. Who came to the Trump camp because he's making the more legitimate arguments, or he's making the most sense, and that's who you're voting for. And that's why I think that embodies the centrist argument, is who's making the most sense, or who's making, because common sense is an uncommon virtue nowadays.
Yeah, but common sense always gets trumped by facts.
Huh? Like
Trump.
I see what you did there. You tricky, slippery little do you.
You're a slippery gypsy, Sturkor. You're a slippery gypsy.
All right, I'm going to be back in 1 minute. I'm
actually part Romany gypsy as well. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of picked up on that based on your avatar.
My avatar is Chinese.
Yeah, but I know.
Close enough.
Close enough. You know, it's just. I'm very.
He is Chinese, Latin, British, apparently.
Yeah.
Oriental gypsy.
I'm all about multiculturalism.
I just, and I said this before, but I just love that someone on the left can embrace cultural appropriation. It is beautiful.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, dude.
Sturkor, could you DM me, like a photo, like a selfie of yourself? Because I'd love to see if you've got like dreadlocks and wear like a rust beanie or something.
No, he's got cornrows, bro.
He's got cornrows.
No, man. Like the cultural appropriation thing comes hand in hand with the job that I do, because I'm a musician. So I kind of have to culturally appropriate to evolve. So
hang on. So you're actually making money. You're financially benefiting from culturally appropriating. Jeez, you're not a lefty. Come over, join the winning side.
No, I just understand the trade better than most people. That's all.
All right, I'm back. I didn't miss anything, did I? Tim didn't call anybody a white supremacist, did they?
No. Well, close. We found out that Sturcor, he actually financially benefits off cultural appropriation.
And he has cornrows.
And he's got
cultural appropriation
to us. We can't see that.
Hey, Sturcor.
Yeah, what's up?
He's suddenly looking really cool.
I am getting quite fucked off of this Jägermeister.
You're in Australia and you have a Trump hat. Why?
Yeah.
Yes, he pulled out the hat. Yes.
You can't vote for that guy.
I love this shirt. I love it all day long. There we are.
Let me. Can I just make an assumption? Do you watch a lot of skeptic YouTubers?
Well, as long as
joke.
you're not called Kraut and Tea, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't like Kraut? What's up with that?
He strawmans everybody he freaking has a disagreement with. It's literally retarded. Have you seen his last videos about the alt right does not know how to sex? The alt right does not know how to define
eugenics or something.
Genetics or something. He literally strawmanned roaming millennial, Stefan Molyneux, all of them because he took them completely out of context. It was just completely.
So how do you literally strawman someone?
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's not even possible.
Watch a video of Burning Man, you'll figure it out.
I want to gauge what kind of room I am in. Do you guys buy into the white genocide shit?
No, but I do think that BLM and Antifa are serious threats.
Yes,
Can I just ask, just for clarification, Sturcor, when you talk about white genocide, can I just get some clarification from
South Africa?
So
no. I just want clarification from Sturcor.
Well,
in terms of region and etc.
From what I understand, it's the influx of immigrants reproducing and decreasing the population of the white race, basically.
That's just population.
That's an abuse of the English language to call that genocide.
Yeah, it is creating a population control issue and a housing issue, but it's not a white genocide.
I mean, but
there was a good gauge.
The West does need to up its birth rate from 1.6% to 2.1, so we can replace everybody that is dying. So that is an issue. The replacement of
that's what they call it. They call it the Great Replacement as well, and like that's part of the whole white genocide mythos.
Yeah, it's
it's almost kind of like saying the frogs are gay. It's not literally white genocide, but it's a slow replacement of people of white Caucasian background. I mean, but what's wrong? But the question is, what's wrong?
Which is happening anyway, because we're breeding all over the world now.
But what's wrong? But here's my question: is what's wrong with being white, and what's wrong with celebrating white culture?
My counter question would be, what's wrong with being replaced? Like, if people who are not white replace us, like, what does that mean? Just
if you're replacing us with I'm not trying to single out any certain ideology, but let's say if they're replacing us with a ideology where women can be subjugated and
not an ideology, just a skin color, just like if we got replaced by brown people.
Wait.
I'm not gonna wait. Okay, go.
Oh yeah,
you can't simplify it like that. Where are they from? What are their values? That's more important than skin color.
Go and fuck a sheep, Tim. I'm joking.
We don't have any.
No, I was going to say, like, let's not. In response to Harry, I know there's a little bit of lag time here. Let's not go down the path of conflating religion with race. I think that's.
I'm not. I wasn't trying to, but I'm sorry if I was.
No. I didn't think you were, bro. Like, I know you, but I don't want the conversation to barrel down that pathway.
Because-
Oh yeah, I understand that. Totally.
Because that is legitimately racist.
What is?
Like equating race and religion outright.
Yeah, correct.
Right.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I think all of us are pretty reasoned people, and we can all agree that there's a complete separation between race and ideology.
I don't understand what's happening right now. Like, wait, what? Stefan, that's legitimately racist? What do you mean? What's legitimately racist?
What's legitimately racist is when you presume someone's skin color to their religion.
I wasn't
you
saying.
why is
I
that
mean, if you're
racist?
trying to construe, I wasn't saying religion.
ideology.
Ideology.
I don't think Harry was saying that, but I just wanted to interject and make the point that I did, because I didn't want to go down that particular path, because that's an absolute shitstorm, and I don't think any of us in here
really believes any of that.
Yeah,
Any
sure.
of-
I was just explaining.
any
I was
of that.
explaining.
You know,
the
like,
point.
I mean, come on, we're all drinking tonight, and you know, I made a few word gaffes back in the
I'm Irish. I'm
pre-break.
still sober.
This is like my third Jaeger bomb, so yeah, I'm slurring a little bit. So
I was just explaining the point to Tim that if you presume someone's religion based on their skin, it's kind of like stereotyping them to a race.
What were we talking about before that? I can't even remember now.
you need to
I don't
drink
know,
more,
but
Tim. You need to
can't-
drink more.
But the thing is, I agree with you, Sturkor. I mean, you know, you can't make these sort of presumptions, and this is possibly you're of the left.
Oh, okay. I remember what we were talking about. We were talking about the replacement.
No, but
thing.
like, I mean, I do sort of appreciate these sort of observations and these sort of positions, because it automatically suggests that you don't engage in groupthink by virtue of your saying, well, you know, we can't look at a person and automatically assume that they are of that religion. Such. I think we,
like,
you know, I think what we need to do, and this is what really frustrates me, is that, you know, you do have the far right and the hard right who go, all Muslims are terrorists, and I've been in conversations with these people before, and so much so that I've been in conversations with these sort of lunatics before that have threatened physical harm against me, threatened to dox me, etc., all because I said, and all because I'll forever say,
Which is your opinion. Only your opinion.
no, which is the truth, which is the truth, which is what I'm going to tell you.
Your opinion
that,
based on truth, yes.
No, my opinion based on fact, because you haven't heard what I'm going to say yet, Harry. Shut the fuck up. Dodgy motherfucker. Is that
it's this right here, story.
We can't engage in groupthink, and guess what? Not all Muslims are terrorists. And
exactly.
And you know, it's this, you know, and I fucking hate the far right. I hate the extreme right for that bullshit, because, you know, if you go onto my YouTube channel, I used to run a show every week, which was unimaginably called News of the Week, and the co-presenter of that show was a Muslim dude who's extremely conservative, more conservative than I am, more pro-West than I could ever be, and yeah, I got threatened with doxing and all that sort of shit just because I associated with him. And funnily enough, he's not even white. And it's like, what the fuck, man?
I mean,
the far right's fucked up, man. Like the far right's fucked up.
I think in general that the moderate left is fucked off.
I mean, you know, it reminds me of this one.
Can I just apologize? Can I just go on this fucking ramble?
This one guy, Imam Tawhidi. Like, you guys know who Tawhidi
Oh,
is?
the Imam of Peace.
Love that guy.
Yes, I mean, he's like flies
Tawhidi.
right in the face of all this crap.
That's my man. Fucking.
I follow
Oh,
him.
boy.
He's awesome.
Yeah, but the point about the religion thing is that, you know, you could be
From South
white
Australia. He's my boy.
you could be white and be Muslim. It's just a faith-based thing.
I was about to
Don't
say,
have to-
it doesn't matter what race you are. You could be of a certain ideology if you deem that ideology aligning with your own personal views. It's all personal. It's all individual.
Yeah, that's why I was just saying, you know, it's wrong to make the assumption, and that's why it could be perceived as racist.
Do you guys know who Posh Forstein is?
No, please enlighten us.
Sounds like a porn name.
You know what? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I like to see
Chris's
that,
porn
yeah.
name.
Yeah, so does Sturcore.
I wish, mate. I wouldn't be on the stream.
You're gonna just like swamp clear.
Hold
Like,
on,
here,
I gotta
hi,
go and
ma'am,
search
I'm here.
Pornhub
I'm
real
here to
quick.
clean your swamp. Like, can you show me the swamp
Actually,
in the
you're-
back, ma'am?
Actually, can someone go on Pornhub and type in Sturcore and see what comes up?
Hold on, I'm doing
I'm on
that right now.
right now.
Nicole's doing it.
I have an
I
account.
wouldn't if
so
it's
don't worry.
Latin for
No, I'm
shit.
kidding. I'm
It's
kidding.
Latin for shit, so I don't know.
No, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, whatever you do, don't type in moldy locks.
Oh, God.
It's a for bitch. Oh.
Oh, we're freaking starting to slide down that path of just like degeneracy when it comes to the stream. But go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to put my hand up for that again, Harry.
Harry.
Sorry.
This was always going to happen. You get one Australian, then you get another Australian, and we're just going to fuck shit up, man.
Deutsche.
We haven't even gained up
Well,
on
there's
the Kiwi yet.
17,002. There's 1,721 results, and I can't show any of them.
I know, yeah, like I got Deutsche
Bravo,
Star
Star
Kitty Core B Privaten Gruppensex. So it's like this woman who's got a bunch of
I've got-
tattoos.
I've
She's
got
just getting gangbanged here.
I've got game.
Anyway, I'm gonna exit out of that because we gotta stay on topic
Yeah,
here.
I know Simon's sitting behind his. I can see him. He's sitting behind his racing chair right there, just looking up fucking Sturcore porn.
I'm going to watch all 1,700 videos right now.
Dirty motherfucker.
I got banked from all of that.
I have to
Tim
log
looks
off
disenfranchised.
food.
Tim looks
I'm going to die.
disenfranchised.
You're welcome.
I'm going to log off and eat some food, but I appreciate this hangout.
Okay, hey Tim,
Aw.
great. When we do another stream, Tim, you're so welcome to join. It was great to talk to you. Like,
Well, it's good
definitely-
because like we actually completely disagree on everything, but we can actually talk without
yeah.
screaming at each other. So
I
that's
mean,
cool.
there hasn't been pretty much any screaming. Definitely would love to talk to you again. Maybe you can get a Music Man Mike on here, and that would
I can
definitely
try
be
to
great.
indoctrinate him into this. Be like, dude, you have to come on this guy's stream. He's the man. He's the best.
Hey,
Follow me
yeah,
on
tell him
Twitter.
that.
I'll
Yeah.
spam you with anime.
I'll work those angles and be like, there's a fucking wall with anime on it. You're not gonna
Yeah.
believe what you're gonna see. on
Oh,
that
but
stream.
yeah, definitely. If you want, you can mirror this or rip it or whatever that happens because I'm a noob at YouTube. You can do whatever you want with this video when it goes when it drops on my channel. You can do whatever you want with it. So
I'm gonna rip it. I'm gonna rip this shit.
Hey, Tim, can I just before you go, bro? Before you go, because we're all about this, man. We're all about this. I've just got to.
Have you got to the love? Have you got to the love section of your beer?
This is you, man.
This is Ed Sheeran. I don't even know how songs go.
You know, Ed Sheeran is actually going to be me and my fiance. We're going to dance to Ed Sheeran as our song.
By the way, guys.
I've been compared to him in the past, and I just kind of remember who the fuck the guy is. It's like, that guy.
I actually know him.
You do?
Know him. Yeah. I went.
You know him?
Yeah.
Sexually.
No, like he was. It's part of my stircore porn. No, but like I actually do. Like I went to the same music college as him, and I know him. So.
Wow. But yeah, we're actually me and my fiance. That is our first dance. Like thinking out loud is going to be our first dance for our wedding reception. So that's going to be something really special. So
did she request it, or did you?
No, we've both like both said that this is the song.
Decided.
Yeah, and we decided years ago that is going to be our wedding song, thinking out loud, and that's what we're going to dance to. So, but yeah,
ginger bastard.
But no, Tim, it was definitely great to talk to you. Definitely, we should do this again, and we should definitely get Mikey in here. Maybe we can get Bearing in here and just have like a shit show.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Can have a shit show with Bearing and you and Mikey. Oh my god, I would love that.
Anyone near that fucking guy, but I could get Michael in here, I guess.
Tim, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I reckon you need to. I reckon we need to crowdfund you flying over to the US to play at Harry's wedding.
I love money, so yes, I'm pro that.
You don't get to work that out with
the DJ that we already paid. And that's in 1 month, so you have to get.
I'm
over here
pro
ASAP.
being given a fuckload of shit.
That's 1 month. You have to. That's ASAP. That is less than a month.
Crowdfunding.
Away.
I don't have to.
I just love this. That was the biggest lefty thing I've ever heard. I love getting a shock.
I have money. It says fly to a different country.
Hey guys, I have a real question. Hey Tim, have you heard of the Kilroy event, the free speech event that's being held by Computing Forever and Base Mama?
In Arizona.
Yes, in Arizona.
Oh, I commented on that, and I said, "Oh, only for righties then."
No, but I'm serious. No, that's a free speech. If anybody's able to get there, please go because I want to go to that free speech event from the Kilroy.
Harry, man, you know,
is it in New Zealand?
What's that, Chris?
I'll go. If it's in New Zealand, I'll go.
Yeah. Arizona's a province in New Zealand.
I'm fucking going to that shit.
Yeah, it's right up north.
It's right down the street in Arizona.
I'll send you the fucking address.
It's like, you know, it's like 5 minutes from Auckland, you know.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. Do 5 minutes from Auckland. Do a bypass from Wellington. I don't fucking know. All Blacks, Kuna Matata.
But it's about free speech. Yeah, it's a free speech event. Yeah, check out Kilroy. I think it's Kilroy Free Speech event on Twitter.
It's Kilroy, Dave Cullen, and Base Mama.
Oh, I know. Base
Mama. Hey, you know what? I want to ask. Hey Tim, what do you think? What do you think about Computing Forever? Or what do you think about his take on things?
I've never properly watched him, to be honest.
I really have to pee, but like this is something that I really want to hear.
Because I watch all. No, I watch the left and the right. Like I want to ask you, like, what is your opinion on Dave Cullen? What's your opinion on Black Pigeon Speaks? What's your opinion?
Black Pigeon Speaks? I think he's a scumbag.
Okay, wait. Just 2 seconds. Like 2 seconds, because this is a conversation I really want to be involved in, but I really need
Tim,
to
you
pee.
have to stay for another 15 minutes. You got to stay for this.
Harry, like
I need
just
to eat a
can you
little
guys
bit of
like
food.
pause this for like 30 seconds?
Look, I'm just gonna eat a piece of bread. Because I
Yeah,
Fantastic.
you better stay here, Tim. I love talking to you, Tim. You
30
better stay
seconds,
here.
30.
Okay, they're both going to pee, so yada yada yada, white supremacists, we're all Nazis, yada yada yada.
Go get some milk.
How's it go? Is it like this? I'm not quite sure.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, it's like
that's
that,
how you do
and you
My
are
stomach is
you
gonna
are
eat
now a white
itself.
supremacist. You are now a white supremacist. if you
I get
use it.
confused because all my neighbours give me this one. The Linda Sarsour salute.
Oh yeah, like ISIS, yeah, number one, like Hawala Akbar.
If I don't eat some food, my stomach can eat itself.
Oh, but Tim, I love you on the stream. Like, it's so great. I'm honored to chat with you. It's really good to chat with you.
I don't know why.
No, the problem is
Doesn't make
when
any
you all
sense.
when you
Why
all
would
agree,
anyone
it just
be honored to
ends
speak
up
to
going
me?
down the hole really, really quickly, doesn't it, Harry?
What's that? What's that?
So when you end up agreeing all the time, the conversation ends up going down a hole really quickly.
Well, I love. That's why I consider myself a conservative libertarian. And that's why I just like discussion. I like debate. I like argument because that's what creates ideas. That's what creates talking points. That's what creates the different aspects.
I was talking to Sturker about this like before we even came on, before he came on the stream, and it's basically just like we literally do not agree on anything, at all. Like I don't know if we agree on anything, but it's actually possible to actually talk about stuff without just like biting your head off and you not biting my head off, which is I think is very weird because like there are some people who I agree with a lot more who I can just not get along with at all.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
even though
yeah,
we
the same
agree.
thing. I can see once we're done with this, and you can do whatever you want with the stream. You can mirror it and put it on your channel or
I'm
something.
probably just gonna cut it up and make you say anti-Semitic things. That's what I normally do.
Oh,
And
I
I'm just like,
love
holy
it.
shit.
But like like legitimately, I can see some of your followers being like, "Why were you even talking to those people?" And I'm just like, "Well, those people who are telling you those things are so steadfast, stuck in their corners in their bubbles that they don't want to actually have a full talk." And I love how you were able to just come out and talk.
Well, but I also think that I could probably not convince you to think the kind of shit that I think. Like, I don't think that I could
in a million
convince
years.
you.
Not in a million years.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think I could. So we can like talk about our different points of view, but we're just putting out different points of view. We're not kind of like convincing each other of stuff. You're never going to convince me to think Donald Trump is cool, and I'm probably never going to convince you that Donald Trump is garbage. So we're just
I reckon I could.
Your shit's all fucked up again.
No,
Hey guys, can I just relate a conversation I had with a lefty the other day? We were arguing about the ideal perfect world, and it was pretty clear that we didn't agree at all on what the ideal perfect world was. But I said to her, there's something you're not understanding about me. You want free education for everyone, all the time, all the way up to the top.
Who's going to pay for that?
So
Who's
do
going to
I.
pay for that?
I want that, but I'm not going to give it to you because we've got this much money and this many things. So what we want, actually, there's barely anything separating any of us on this stream. I would guarantee if we had unlimited money, we would all want the same things, wouldn't we?
Well, we're not talking about unlimited money.
Hey, Tim.
That's the problem, Tim. That's the problem. That's where the disagreements come in.
If I had unlimited money, I'd want a unicorn.
Your cat. Simon's dog is
We're arguing over price, not principles. All these arguments get pushed as, our principles are different. No, they're not. We're arguing about the price of the principle that we both want very, very often. Why politics is so polarized at the moment, I have no idea, because we're not that far apart. Not at all.
It's not about our morals. It's about our the practical application of them.
Well, but I think the price is the principle.
The
like, who pays that price is the principle. Like, do you want the government to pay for it, or do you want to personally pay for it? Like, those are the two options. It's like,
well, then that goes
but Tim,
to
that also
Thomas
depends on
Jefferson
circumstances.
argument.
How much money do we have?
the
well,
power
the
of
government
the
is funded by the
individual
people, so
versus the
government-
power of the
government's funded
state.
by us.
Like it's
Well, the
that's
state
the
is
Thomas
funded by the taxpayers. So it's like, do you want to pay these things personally from your own bank account, or do you want the government to pay it via your taxes? Like,
as
those are the two
long
options.
as long as it's going to people who really are embodying the spirit of the mentality of the country that they're living in, then I'm all for it. But like if they want to subvert and use it for their own means and being
Yeah, but
very vague about it, then no.
But Harry, there were a lot of people who, during the George Bush era, they did not want to fund Iraq, but they still did it. They still paid their taxes and shit. But there could be stuff your government does that you do not want to pay taxes for, but you still do it. So you would have to deconstruct your government and be like,
Well,
I will
that goes
not
back
pay
to the
taxes.
revolution. That goes back to
their
we've
stuff.
lost the key essence of what the American Revolution was about: freedom and liberty. And because since the 1950s, we have just like the government of America has become the British Empire that America, sorry, because I'm not American yet, that America has fought to liberate itself from, and the government now is pretty much the tyranny of the British Empire. I mean, it's a failure to learn from history, and history is allowed to repeat itself.
I have a question for you. Why
Have
would you go
you
from
been paying
Canada
attention
to-
to the internet? The history never happened.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. It's all subjective, and we should all just take it.
Why? I want to ask a question. Why would you go from Canada for free healthcare to expensive healthcare?
Well, if I'm gonna wait around
Because of freedom.
if I'm gonna wait around for 1 or 2 months to get a doctor to see me about my asthma and my medication I need for it, and then I come down to America and I can see the doctor the next day, then
but the
I would
child-
choose to see the doctor the next day.
So you've got the
Yeah,
money.
what doctor are you going to?
All I have, based on my insurance, all I have to do is call them up and be like, all right, well, we got an opening tomorrow. Come on in, we'll talk to you, and like they'll see me and be like, okay, well, you need to get your prescription renewed.
So are you born from a wealthy family, or you've got money, or
My father was his name was Douglas Aldridge. He was a radio personality during the 70s and 80s. He did like sports
random.
stuff, and he lived in Germany for a lot of his time, and that's where he met my mother. And he worked with the Canadian Armed Forces. He was the radio disc jockey. He pretty much translated all the German stuff into English.
so he's
the
literally
Canadian,
the guy from Good Morning Vietnam.
yeah. He was the Canadian
Good
guy.
morning, Vietnam.
He was the English speaking guy for the Canadians who were living in Germany, so they could listen to some guy speaking English instead of German on the Canadian Armed Forces base. And
Random.
like I mean, I was sponsored into America. Like my father, like long story short, like I don't think Tim heard this, but like my biological mother is German, but he divorced her because she's fucking nuts and like abused me and my sister. That's a long story. Very short. And he met an American woman who he fell in love with, and she sponsored us to get in the United States. So I mean, and my father had an estate, and I mean, it's not like I was living like paycheck to paycheck personally when I was a minority. I mean, not a minor. Sorry, that's the alcohol for you. But like when I was like later on, I was paying for my own, and I lived from paycheck to paycheck for a while. But he had himself a nest egg, and he protected it, and that's what we were able to live off of for the first couple of years of living down here in the United States. And then, of course, unfortunately, he passed away in 2008. That's about almost 10 years ago, and from there, like it is what it is. I mean, I live from paycheck to paycheck for time by myself, but then there's like estate and stuff that finally gets finalized through lawyers and stuff like that. So I came into some money. That's how I was able to afford the house I live in. But
like, so what's keeping your healthcare going then? Your
I
plan?
have a job. I have a full-time job. I'm a manager at a restaurant, and I have pretty good healthcare through that. That's not Obamacare.
But what I would
Right, but
ask,
so-
what I would ask you is that, like, wouldn't you want to join like the rest of the world that has healthcare provided to them by taxes?
Since I lived under a national healthcare plan in Canada for the first, for about 15 years of my life, and found out that it's complete bullshit, and how it's really hard to see your doctor because they only work 2-3 days a week because they're only paid enough money through the healthcare system to work 2 or 3 days a week, that it's hard to get stuff done for free. It's not free; it's paid for by the taxpayer. And what Canada is single payer healthcare system. It's paid for through the taxpayer paying the government. There's a lot of shortfalls, so you have a lot of gaps in between what you consider proper healthcare.
I'd say the difference here is like between having a job and not having a job. If you've got a job in the States, then it sounds like you can get decent healthcare.
Yeah,
hopefully.
regardless of Obamacare, if you have a job, you can get a decent healthcare.
Yeah, like if the job provides decent healthcare, but like if you in Canada and in other countries, like if you don't have a job at all, you've still got coverage.
I know, but you're probably gonna wait. Like if you got a cold or you got the flu, good luck.
Good luck
trying to see the doctor in like a day or two. You gotta wait a couple weeks for that.
But I mean, if you've got no access to anything else, like some access is better than no access whatsoever.
Yeah, but if your access is seeing your doctor in a couple weeks, and you could could have the flu. You have the full blown flu. I was 7 years.
Right.
Well, here's a little anecdote.
In New Zealand.
Okay. Sorry.
Like,
even though anecdotes don't count, let me just say this quick. Even though anecdotes don't count and all this shit, blah blah blah. I was 7 years old and I had the full blown flu. I was on the couch for a week. I was wrapped up in like 3 blankets. I wasn't able to see my doctor until 3 weeks from when my flu onset occurred. And by the end of 2 weeks, I was over the flu. Never saw the doctor. And that was from bed rest. That was from chicken noodle soup. And that was from sleep. And drinking a lot of fluids, hydrate. Like the non-over-the-counter remedies that will... So pretty much the government will fail you where over-the-counter remedies... like old school like home healthcare, like drink your chicken noodle soup, drink fluids, have a lot of bed rest, will do you much more better than the government will ever help you for. So I mean, the government didn't help me anywhere when I was 7 years old with the flu, and I could have died from that. But I saw my pediatrician a week after I was over my flu, and he said, well, you're in good health. And he said, well, that's because, my parents had me have chicken noodle soup. I slept on the couch and I was wrapped up. And he says, well, that's what they should have done. Good for them. So what's the government doing to help me if I got over the flu?
Harry, no, I mean,
before I actually went to see the doctor.
That is just the most anecdotal shit I've ever heard.
Well, that's why I just said before I even said that this is an anecdote. Blah 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 blah.
It's like, well, some other kid won't be quite as well off as you, and then it will be worse for them. So like, this is just like, oh, in my experience, this thing happened and it wasn't that bad. It's like, okay,
I will say,
thing.
Harry, my daughter has the flu right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I'm not going to bother taking her to the doctor because that would be a waste of time. She just needs
They'll
sleep
just
and
tell you
fluids.
bed rest and a lot of fluids and like give her chicken noodle soup and stuff.
I've been doing this for 13 years. I got it covered.
It depends on your situation. It depends on your specific like circumstances. Maybe you know that she doesn't need to be taken to the doctor and it's fine. But like, I'm sure.
Guys, can I tell you what's happened to the free healthcare in Australia and how it's gone wrong? What the doctors have discovered is that if you treat someone in 6 minutes, you get the maximum payment per minute and you can earn $250 an hour for your clinic.
That's
so
why-
whenever I go to see my doctor, before I've even told him what's wrong, he's got his fucking prescription pad out. That's what 6-minute medicine has become. If you stay for 20 minutes, it's like $40, and now they can only get 3, so it's 120. So they've gamed the system.
I don't even know what.
And that's going to happen no matter what you do.
Is that something
See, that's
from
why
in Australia?
Yeah, I didn't either, Tim. It took me 18
Possible.
minutes to work out what 6-minute medicine
That's
is.
why doctors. That's why doctors in
That's
Canada can only work 3
yeah.
days a week. Doctors in Canada can only work 3 days a week because they're only paid for 3 days a week work. So that's why they're off for
Oh,
4 days a week.
shit.
Because why are they going to work for free?
I've
4
literally
days
never
of
heard
the
of
week.
6-minute medicine. Like that's.
No, I hadn't either. It was
The
a big thing that
government
came
has
up. They were
decided
trying
how
to put a
long.
co-payment on going to see the doctors, and that's
Yeah,
how
the
it came up.
government has decided how much time a doctor is allowed to work a week. So why is
Right.
the doctor going to
Whoa.
work beyond that time to get
Well,
paid nothing?
I
I
think
can
the
say that
issue here. You're a robot again.
Oh crap!
I think the issue
Okay,
here is that we are literally just talking about like, do you have the money to pay for healthcare or don't you? And if you do have the money, it can be fantastic. And if you don't, you might have to wait, and there could be problems and like 6-minute healthcare or whatever. But like in New Zealand,
But
we have
universal
private
healthcare
healthcare.
makes everybody wait.
I got my
Universal-
no. But like we have public and private in New Zealand. So like, when I was
That's
a kid,
good. That's good.
my parents were like, you got to get your tonsils out. And I was like, how long do I have to wait for that to happen? And they were like, this amount of time. And I was like, is there any way to do it quicker? And they're like, yes, we've got money and resources. So we're just going to go to this private hospital.
So
and
you're
get
in
it
the
done
same boat as
next
I
week.
was. So
Right. So, but you've got the option of going private. So that means you've got the best of both worlds. So we're like, what's wrong
but
with
that
having...
comes to the free market. That comes. Some people have an advantage over others, but that's what it is. Like the free market is about capitalism. It's not always fair when it comes to capitalism, but it shouldn't be all
why
about
can't you have
equality
a
of
public-
outcome. It should be equality of opportunity.
Well, but like, it's not about like equality of opportunity. Like, if it's a system where if you have more money, you can get better healthcare, that's not equal opportunity.
Yeah, Tim's got a good point on that. It's, like that equal opportunity as opposed to equal of outcomes. Equal opportunity would be everyone rocks up at the doctors and you wait the same amount of time.
Yeah, and
I know,
you
but
don't
then
have to
that's a
pay more or
slippery
less
slope.
money.
Then like everybody has to wait in line for surgery for like prostate cancer, and they got to get removed. They don't take into account like who has the virulent strain of prostate cancer, who's going to kill them in 6 months, to the slow strain that's going to kill them in 3 years. They just put them into a queue.
No, that's not the way it works, because of like they do it in order of severity. That's
Well,
why
my father had, and I'm not trying to make this another anecdotal argument, but my father had a virulent strain of prostate cancer, and this is before he passed away, sadly, but he had like A1, like the most virulent strain that was going to kill him in a couple months, that he would have been put into a queue, and he would have been like given the operation to get his prostate removed in 2 years, but he would have been dead by then. But from the grace of God, and I'm going to say this I'm going to say God, because like I don't know what happened, but somebody had to cancel their appointment or cancel their surgery, and he was slotted in to take that treatment, and they were able to remove his prostate before it killed him in like 3 months. And that was just like, oh my God, like we can't believe it, because he would have been dead by the time he would have been on the table. If
Could he afford any other kind of treatment, or no? Like that was the only
my
option?
parents actually, and this is the time that he was actually married to my stepmother, who is now my biological mother because she adopted me. Like they were looking into treatments down in the U.S. and they were gonna pay full price, go down to the U.S. and get it done right away within like a week or two, get his prostate removed. But they got like an email from the surgeon, who was like a great prostate surgeon. I forgot his name, but he was like one of the #1 rated prostate surgeons in all of Canada. He said, like, we have an opening now. Douglas can get in like 2 weeks from now, and we can remove his prostate, and then we can like monitor him after that. And they're like, oh my God, yes, let's do it, because it's going to be still covered. but that was just from the grace of God that somebody canceled their stuff and he took their place. If it wasn't for that, he would have been dead.
Right.
All right. Well, I'm gonna check out for a little bit, just to eat some food. But I figure you guys are gonna be going long into the night and/or morning, so I will check back in shortly. How's that, brother?
I have to go eat food.
We're losing the 2 minutes. Okay, well, let's keep this stream alive because I definitely want to
Yeah,
talk
we
to
can keep the stream
Sturcore.
alive,
I definitely want
man.
to talk to Simon. I'm going to be like
Yeah, I wanna
30
get Simba
seconds. I
on,
gotta
man.
take a piss. I'll be right back. Insanity, Sturcore, Simon, you guys stay on here. All right.
I can entertain.
Absolutely.
I'll be
I'm
here.
in.
I can entertain you with my Michael Jackson guitar.
All right. I will be right
You were
back.
the one playing guitar. Okay.
Hey, Sturk, stop with the cultural appropriation, man.
Oh, I'm gonna go.
No,
but
he
I
needs
appreciate
to keep
the conversation.
appropriating cultures and making porn.
Yeah.
Thank you for the fun times, guys. I'll see you later.
Hey, Tim.
Hi, Tim.
Yep.
It's been great. It's been great chatting with you, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate my brothers to the west. Yes, you're to the west. And sisters and non-binaries.
And sisters.
I don't think we have any non-binaries here.
And
I'm sure you've got at least 3.
And fictional characters.
Actually,
And brothers.
Tim, Simon's actually non-binary and gender fluid. So
Okay.
if you could actually respect that.
I did.
No, Chris. Jesus.
And
I
other
I
kin.
thought I said this properly. My gender's fluids are non-binary.
Oh, quite complicated.
Commas are everything, dude.
I respect your fluids. He's a complicated.
You're a cunt, Simon.
Oh, God.
You're a cunt.
Citation.
Oh, fuck you.
There's no ones and zeros,
I
just
demand
little X's
data.
and little Y's.
All right, I'm back. All right, the sun's coming up, but I don't care.
It's okay. We're just talking about this guy's fluids.
All right, sorry, I'm going. See you guys later.
Yes.
All right,
Bye.
Tim,
Yeah.
great to talk to
Hey,
you. We
Tim.
got to do another
Nice to meet you,
stream.
dude.
We got to definitely do another stream.
Take
Yeah.
care, Tim.
I'm
Tim,
keen.
it was
I
nice.
have
It was
to
nice
eat.
to chat with you finally.
Yes, I've never talked to you before. I've just seen you around, fighting with people. All right, bye.
But
Hey,
Tim, Tim, definitely tell Mikey to hop in one of our streams at a later date.
I will, because like you're a
I-
respectful person. It's possible to talk to you about things. So I'm
Tim?
gonna be like, Michael, chill. Just talk to this man.
Yeah.
Tim,
Yeah.
I just want to leave
Yeah.
you. I want to leave you with this, brother.
No, yeah, okay, that gives me some research to do. I have to find out what kind of music Ed Sheeran's made, because I don't know.
After your research, we want you to do a live performance for us, too.
Okay, I don't know. If
Yeah,
can
I
sing
see
as
that
high as
guitar in the
guy.
background. I want you to play that next time.
I can't sing as high as that man, but I'll try. All right,
Say
Bye.
say goodnight to the kitty for me.
I will. He's already asleep. See ya.
all right. See you later, Tim.
Hi,
Hey,
Tim.
hey
Night,
Tim,
Tim's cat.
let's add each other on Twitter, man. Good to talk to you, brother.
All right. Yeah. See, everybody, that's the Swamp Killer Harry. That was Tim Blake. At a Motivated Opinion. He's a really good guy, even though we disagree on pretty much everything. Check him out on Twitter and give him a follow. All right. But anyway, let's get back to that discussion. I know you're going to get some food, Chris, but you better be back in a couple minutes.
Oh no, I've actually decided that I probably just need a cigarette and then I'll be fine.
Smoke it right here, right now. I want to see you smoke
Yeah.
that cigarette.
By the way, guys, I've
You want me to smoke in my living room?
It's your living room. Go ahead.
By the way, guys, I've got to go in like.
Switch to your cell phone.
You got to go in 30 minutes.
Yeah, I got to
So
go.
that's like 7 a.m. That's like 9 p.m. 9 p.m.
Not his time.
No, where are you at? Where are you at, Staircar?
In good old jolly
Pornhub.
England.
Oh, okay. So that's
Are you like?
are you getting ready for the Arsenal game? Arsenal versus Bournemouth.
Oh, I'm not a football guy.
Oh, I love when is the game? Okay. Sorry, I shouldn't ask you.
Hey,
not
hey
football.
Sturkle, you're not in sports.
I'm not. Well, what happened with me was that people went into sports and I went into martial arts because I was bored by sports.
Okay, well, I'm into neither. We're going to be fantastic friends going.
I
down the
guarantee
line.
you, though, the stream will end when the Arsenal Bournemouth game comes on because I want to see that because I'm an Arsenal fan. So.
Oh well, yeah. Well, you just leave the stream running, and it's just going to be Nicole, Simon, and myself.
And nobody's gonna watch.
Yeah, we'll sit here
we're just
and
gonna
make
wait
really
out.
crappy jokes for a while.
I'm like,
And we're just
what
going to
people want
fuck
to
your
watch.
channel up. We're going to fuck your channel in the ass.
So
We're gonna
Arsenal
penetrate your
plays at
channel.
10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so that's 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours from now. So we're good to stream for a little while.
I mean, you're kind of lucky to have me, to be honest.
Soccer.
Because I'm not really active on Twitter.
Soccer.
I'm only active on Twitter because of
Soccer.
Football.
Soccer.
Football.
Soccer.
It's
Soccer.
Shut up.
Soccer. Yeah, Nicole, get in on it. Soccer.
Sports.
It's football because you
I
can with your
fucking. Oh, fuck off with your football talk. Fuck off, you fucking European wanker.
Aussie rules don't matter here.
Ooh, we've busted out with wanker.
You kick
Yeah.
it
It's
with
gotten real now.
football.
We got a wanker,
It should be
a
What,
porn star,
want me to
and this
kick you-
guy's gender
you want me to
fluid.
kick you in the balls, Mr. Miyagi. You bloody tosser.
your sport's called
Hey,
handball.
Chris, have you ever noticed how much easier it is to trip over
My
a blade of
sport's called
grass
handball.
when you're
I don't even
chasing a
follow my
round ball?
sport. But it's not fucking handball, you fucking tosser.
What's Simon saying? Go ahead,
You
Simon.
I was just saying, Chris, have you ever noticed how much easier it is to trip over a blade of grass when you chase a round ball?
Oh, God.
Oh, and how many more knee reconstructions do you need from it too? God, they're wusses.
Oh, do you notice that soccer is basically above ground equivalent of like fucking water ballet?
It's like a cross between football, kindergarten, and like slap charades.
It's a lot of people doing the sort of like gay pose and falling over, like with their hands. Oh.
But anyway, you know what? If Chris is about to leave and come back, let's talk about something a little bit more.
For the long haul.
All right. Well, let's talk about something. Let's talk about the liberal reaction to Hurricane Irma. Let's talk about how all these liberals are completely exploding and wanting Trump supporters to die and Trump properties to get destroyed because this Category 5 hurricane.
I have seen so many life comes at you fast tweets over that.
Well, the thing,
Oh, God, I know, right?
The thing is, though, like, Trump is a god emperor, and he can do these things. He's got the powers to do it.
Yeah, the weather
It's
weapons.
true.
Yeah, these weather weapons to create these hurricanes. Yeah.
Yeah. Secret arsenal.
But like
Weather control
I've
machine
seen a
over the
Paul
Pacific.
Joseph Watson video, where you have ISIS claiming that the Hurricane Irma is an act of Allah, who's going to come and wipe out Americans, and then you have
That's
leftists.
no fucking big deal. They claim everything because they want attention. They claim absolutely everything. Absolutely everything is done by Allah.
I have to agree. I have to agree with that. I mean, that's just
like if you wanted to look at any catastrophe and then you wanted to get a source, like Paul Joseph Watson would pull from like ISIL and just basically say, look, they claimed it. Like, it's too fucking easy. They claim fucking everything.
That's why, I mean, ISIS is, I mean, if you want to, okay, I might get flack for this. I might get flack for this, but when Obama said that ISIS was a JV team, he wasn't halfway incorrect. Even though that ISIS is killing a bunch of people and doing a bunch of bad stuff, they're just the tools of the deep state to advance the propaganda that we need to keep these wars going on in the Middle East.
Well, you first have to provide proof of deep state.
No, well, look, I'm actually gonna refute what you say, Harry, in your conflation of ISIS and the deep state. I do understand the how ISIS were created and the Libyan vacuum, etc.
Yeah.
But there is nothing about ISIS which is deep state.
And I have to agree with you too. But
with that being said, I agree with you that ISIS will claim responsibility for pretty much anything which furthers their agenda.
And the deep state isn't, and the deep state is all too willing to just conflate that into the larger issue of destabilization of the Middle East. So anything that's good for ISIS is good for the deep state.
But you first have to prove that the deep state exists.
Well, no, the deep state does exist.
Look at the military-industrial complex of America. Like, damn.
I think that the term deep state, because it has come from the right wing,
neocons
has been sort of interpreted as this conspiratorial term, but deep state represents something much larger, and it does exist. And the use of the term deep state is also draws back to what I was saying before as political shorthand. We can use deep state to refer to something in the same way that we can use left or right to refer to something.
Well, the thing is that you're like, I always quote Carl Sagan on this, is that, you know, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence.
I've got a few Carl Sagan books in my bookcase, which you can see behind me.
Yeah. So you've like, whenever you make a claim, you have to provide evidence, otherwise it's bullshit to me. If you like, that's rule number one of skepticism. So,
yeah, well, what I will say right now is that I do not associate. I do not define myself as a skeptic. I do not dwell within the skeptic community, and I don't believe Harry does either. I think both Harry and I would identify as realists, and I certainly identify as a centre right libertarian.
I'm a dirty little freak.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Calm down.
It didn't happen.
All right. Calm down, Kesha.
I love you, Chris.
This is good. This is gonna be a weekly thing. That we're gonna have a weekly stream. This is gonna be a weekly stream.
Yeah. So I think that you know, I'm not a part of the skeptic community. Harry's not a part of the skeptic community. And this all goes back to what I was saying before, is that if we weren't better yet, if we were skeptics, if Harry and I were skeptics, if Nicole was a skeptic, if my man in the racing chair there was a skeptic, like if we were part of that community, would we be able to conduct or facilitate, conduct, and have a conversation with people who are even slightly left? I doubt it.
I know, like, how could we?
I think you could, but you just that you wouldn't necessarily bringing in politics to it. You'd just be thinking about what's factual.
Yeah, well, hang on. Can I ask you a question? Like, what have I said that's not what? You have to excuse me because I'm slurring my words a little bit, but like, but like, have I said anything that's not factual?
Well, basically, what I'm trying to say is that if both of you have made the claim that the deep state exists, and I have got no evidence for it or basis for me to.
Well, no. Actually, what I said was that deep state was. Deep state was
It's almost like a frogs are gay argument here.
No. What I said is that deep state was just a reference point. It was just like, okay, we can use this as shorthand. We can use deep state as shorthand. Of course there is sort of underbelly elements to the government.
Multinational, like, underhanded work ops that go in between country to country and just, like, controlled from a central point.
Yeah, but like,
whatever. I mean, it happens under both left and right governments. I think
still need proof of that before I take it on. That's the thing.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I mean, dude, seriously. I mean, like, I do that with everything. Everything. I'm not just saying just this. I do that with everything. Okay, so so you're going to sort of suggest that the label of deep state has no validity right now because it's a new term, when in fact there's been underhanded government conduct or underhanded government.
The thing is, I don't know that, and I would need proof of that existing. Otherwise, I can't take it on.
Well, look at WikiLeaks.
How pissed off everybody at Trump.
Yeah, like Chris is just and me, we're just look at WikiLeaks.
What's WikiLeaks to do with the deep state? WikiLeaks is WikiLeaks.
They're exposing what's going on. The intergovernmental collusion between like the DNC and how they rigged the DNC and the establishment of the American government, how they rigged the election, or if you want to look at a little bit earlier, how the Ukrainian government was subverted by the fringe groups that caused all the unrest and protests in Ukraine, which caused the collapse of the government, which allowed Crimea to be taken over by the Russians again.
Sure, but you can't like put that all in one big overarching term called a deep state.
Okay, all right.
Like several different
here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is not partisan. Like, this is not partisan. No, it's not. It's not.
I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it is.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So it's not partisan. I do truly believe that there are. Okay, I'm going to use this. There are deep state meaning sort of hidden operations that are going on in the government that we do not know about happening, and that's not conspiratorial.
Well,
it's perfect.
proven.
It's perfectly logical, and WikiLeaks has exposed this sort of stuff, and if you want to enter into this debate and say, and debate over a debate over phraseology,
No, it's not phraseology. It's just like it's the evidence to support the claim. That's all.
Well,
like,
that's what gives
Yeah, but
people
what-
like Alex Jones the traction
But
that
what
he gets
claim are we
because it's
talking
there.
about?
It's there to be exposed. It's there. People know, but it's not just in the white papers. It's happening on a day-to-day basis, and all you have to do is look back, correlate. Because remember, mainstream media and the deep state are expecting everybody to have the memory of a goldfish, to not remember these things that are happening. And that's why you have people like Alex Jones or Breitbart or like others to expose this stuff.
But what about the people? What about people who you would consider leftists doing exactly the same thing?
All right, can I just interject for 1 second?
Go ahead.
Just 1 second. Hey, Nicole.
Huh.
Just want to talk to you just for 1 second.
All right.
You remember this?
Oh, cigarette. I don't smoke cigarettes, but that seems like it's pretty good right now, considering I'm halfway drunk.
In your
You could
house.
afford
Yeah.
like
Good job.
5 private health insurance policies if you gave those up, Chris.
Oh, fuck
I
it.
tell you
Man,
what,
I
Chris,
wish I
right now,
wish I smoked cigarettes,
this
but I
makes up
don't.
for the thing on the train.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to
See
die
this?
young.
See
and
this,
die
Chris?
beautiful.
You see this, Chris? This has saved me $20,000 in the last 7 years. Get on it.
I've seen,
Yeah.
oh man, everybody's vaping, and I'm just like, I'm not into that. But I used to
I
smoke.
got a vape pen, and it, like, no, after a while, I just needed a real cigarette.
See,
No,
I'm
you
just
gotta
like,
get the right one.
I smoke. I
You
smoke
know
weed.
what?
I never.
I'll tell you what, Nicole. The reason you don't get on a vape pen is because you look like a fucking wanker. And you know what?
I think you talk about vapors, Chris. There's two different kinds. There's people who don't smoke anymore, and then there's people who never smoked who think these things are
Doggy.
fucking cool when you hold on to them.
It's a doggy. Doggy.
It's true.
Fucking hipsters.
Doggy.
Yeah,
Hey,
they
fuck
don't
it.
even smoke nicotine in the bloody things. It's like, geez, what was the point of getting on it? It was to get off nicotine. It's like, if you're not going to
Doggy,
put
doggy.
nicotine, you want a replacement.
Doggy.
I'll die. I don't give a shit.
Hey, he hears me talking. Hey, doggy.
He's Charlie.
Fuck it, I'll
Say hello to
die.
Harry.
Oh.
All right, I gotta wait. Ah!
See, like I used to smoke I used to smoke the stuff of green nature, but I don't smoke that anymore. But that's why I suffice it with alcohol, because that's a pretty good substitute.
Weed and Alex Jones is not a good combination, to be honest.
Speaking of weed, somebody's smoking it.
Well, I never allowed my weed smoking escapades to get in the way of what Alex Jones was talking about. Usually, like, Alex Jones would be on from like 12 to 4 p.m. in the daytime. I usually smoke weed at night, so I never listened to Alex Jones while I was high. So.
Well, it depends on how often you were doing it, because you could be high from the day before. But like,
Your shit's a little fucked up, by the way.
oh crap.
Yeah, your shit's fucked up, Simon. Harry will fix his shit. He loves that shit. He loves that.
But no, like, since I'm getting married, and I got like finances in order, so I don't do that no more, because that's just a financial drain.
Well, I was just saying that, you know, the paranoia plus Alex Jones it's not a good thing.
Well, it goes to where I take Alex Jones with a grain of salt, but there's still a lot of truth behind what he says once you get away from the grandiose wordage that he uses, and you get to the brass tacks, and it's actually true.
We've already covered this. I mean, we're going around in circles right now.
Yeah, let's talk what we were talking about. Yeah.
Like we've already covered this.
I just wanted to say my piece on it was just that when I did get into Alex Jones before he's become as popular as he was, and all the skeptics laughed at him because every time he came out with stuff, it wouldn't match up with reality. And for some reason, he's grown in traction because of the centrist movement, like people making memes out of his shit, and then people actually starting to believe what he's saying to be gospel.
No, well, do you know why?
Chris, I'm sorry. Before the reason why I follow Alex Jones and I actually consider him credible and why I believe is because for the past 2 years, the talking points or the things that were the news that was dropped on InfoWars. The reason why I believe Alex Jones is credible in what he says is because 99% of the time, whenever they come out with the news or whenever they come out with a talking point, the mainstream media or whoever picks it up like a week or two later because that's what's actually going on. So these guys, when they say that they're the tip of the spear, they're the cutting edge, they are the tip of the spear, the cutting edge. So at first it is a conspiracy theory or it's like dumbfounded like news, but that is what it is, brass tacks. So that's why I have fallen into that camp, because I'm a person who's like, all right, I'm going to sit back and wait and see what's actually real about everything that's being said. And when Alex Jones says something that's like 2 weeks ago that is like considered, okay, that's fucking kind of like out there, kind of crazy. But then when the mainstream media picks up on it and runs it as like a true story, I'm just like, oh shit. Well, he said that 2 weeks ago. So he is the tip when he says he's the tip of the spear, he's the tip of the spear. So that's why I have fallen into the camp of Alex Jones and Breitbart and the alternative news.
I mean, the way I personally see him, I think is a healthy approach. Is that I see him as a like a court jester, as a clown, as an entertainer. I don't see him as a source for news or information or enlightenment.
But what about the people who work for him, like Mike Cernovich, Roger Stone, Owen Schroyer?
Well, Mike Cernovich and Roger Stone don't work for him.
Oh, they do now. They definitely do now. Like they have their own shows. Like, well, Cernovich works for the War Room, and Roger Stone is an affiliate of that. And plus, they have their new show, Real News with David Knight. What's everybody's opinion on David Knight? David Knight is very articulate. He is a different personality than Alex Jones. Plus, he works for InfoWars.
I don't know him.
Take a look at David Knight. Like, look him up and then come back in like the next stream or something when we talk about this again. Because David Knight is his own person, but he works for InfoWars, and he was on the ground when it comes to the Bundy discussion and the whole controversy behind the Bundy disagreement with the federal government and the Bundys. And David Knight is one of his own people.
The thing is though, if I was to do that, it would take me about a week. Because the thing is the way.
Well, isn't that what thorough research involves? Like, good time invested into finding out what's going on.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that the way I operate and the way my mindset operates is if someone says anything and they proclaim it, then I have to go and look it up. I don't just take their word for it. I look into so many different sources for anything that anyone says. I can't take someone's word for it because of secondhand source information isn't good for you.
Well, just take a look at David Knight and what he did during the Bundy controversy with the federal government and that whole cattle ranching shit that was going on like a couple of years ago. Just take a look at that stuff and see what David Knight and he's libertarian. Look up libertarian on Twitter and you should be able to find his Twitter handle. Or it's like libertarian or something like that, but you should be able to find him on Twitter. I mean, I could send you a link if you follow me or give me your Twitter handle or something like that. It's like it's a guy with a beard. like older guy with a gray whitish beard, libertarian.
Well, the thing that bugs me most about Alex Jones is the products that he's selling with fake doctors.
Well, what's
Well,
what's
do you
wrong with
do you know that, like, but Alex Jones's products, BuzzFeed,
yeah, they are
sent them-
completely 100%. They're 100% certified by the California standards, and they are the most strict
Yeah.
standards of the
and
entire United States.
BuzzFeed sent those products to their own independent lab, and
Are good.
they were verified as exactly what they were.
Yeah, like I take the X2, I take the Brain Force, and that shit works. The X2, it works with your thyroids, gives you regulates your hormones, and I'm going to say this on stream, but it boosts your sexual prowess.
And I have to say, I'm very happy that Harry's sexual prowess is boosted, because I'm a much more satisfied man. But
This stream's getting a little sticky.
you should see my bed sheets after Harry's left.
Photographic
Jesus.
evidence, or it didn't happen, bro.
Exactly. She's a quick learner, this one.
Nicole, I tell you what, my bed sheets right now look like paper mache, all because of Harry.
Proof or it didn't happen.
All right, I'm going to take.
Yeah,
I'll DM
I am properly skeptical that Alex
I'll make
Jones
sure that
X2 is that good.
No, but the thing is that all it comes down to, and this is what the liberal media are pissed off about. This is what the left media are pissed off about. They're pissed off about the fact that Alex Jones is branding the products as super male vitality, etc., etc. When in actual fact, all of this stuff is verified to work. It's proven to work. They're just up in arms. They're just doing this whole fucking hysterical bullshit because of the label and the person who's selling it. It's ridiculous.
Hey, it's all just a form of censorship. And you know what? I'm actually on Twitter right now, and a good old friend of ours, Dorky, he's been demonetized. YouTube won't even let me put ads on my newest video. That's his latest tweet. If you guys look that up right now, and I'm just responding to it right now.
Oh, has Robert been demonetized?
Yes, Robert has been demonetized. It's absolutely crazy.
Can I tell you something really funny? Can I tell you something really funny, Harry? My YouTube channel is also demonetized. 50% of my videos were demonetized.
That's because of your bed sheets.
See, with me, I'm not trying to take away from the stream, but I don't monetize any of my shit. I don't care about what I'm saying.
All of my videos were demonetized prior to this outbreak, and my YouTube channel is fucking small, and they were all demonetized. It's
all just that left-wing push to censor everything that's controversial.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, do you think Google is maybe overestimating their customer loyalty? Because how bloody easy is it to get another account, and then all your favorite YouTubers are already on VidMe or DuckyGoGo or whatever? You start on YouTube, it takes you a few months to build up followers. Well, changing from YouTube to VidMe, 10 minutes, you've got half your followers back.
YouTube is the only platform that is viable for us right now.
Because it has critical mass, which can move quickly. It's digital.
Yeah, so we have to be on YouTube. We can switch over to VidMe. I
already have a VidMe channel. It's Swamp Cleaner Harry. Check it out.
I've got VidMe as well.
Shameless plug.
That's what these things are for, right?
Diversify.
That's the key.
Fucking hell. Right in my ears. In my drums.
Yeah, well, I've thrown in an MOP for a while there, so I thought I would.
Have you got like Tourette's?
He's just making
Have you got,
sure
like, an
speakers are all
English
working.
accent?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
I like your work, Mr. Miyagi. You fucking dumb old man. Look at you, fucking grey-haired old bastard.
Yes.
Fucking.
Yeah, but he's a porn star.
Yeah, I fucking see he's wearing a yellow sweater, you fucking old cunt.
Insanity. I bet you've been staring at my porn schlong all day, haven't you?
He's gonna do that when he's not on camera.
Yo,
The fuck is wrong with you? This is what people who don't show their face do. They're just like,
Sturcoy, you gotta send me a friend request on Twitter.
I don't give a fuck. That's basically my
Oh,
I say it all
okay.
the time.
oh, we're dealing with a badass here.
Yeah, lick my balls.
You know what, Sturkor?
What?
You're dealing with real badasses here because you're dealing with right-wing people who show their faces on the internet.
I know,
That's
I'm
real
already
badass.
doxed
I know,
right
we're
now.
playing with
Dox
fire.
me, dox me.
Do you want a medal?
No, I don't want
No,
to.
but I would like a
medal.
cookie.
But give Nicole a cookie. But what I'm saying is
Preferably
that
chocolate. I'm kind of hungry.
in terms of culture wars, mate, like, you know, left wing people can't call themselves badasses on the internet, not showing their faces. Right wing people showing their faces is badass because we're the people who are going to lose our jobs, bud.
Yeah,
Not you.
I'm not.
It's because.
Man, I'm not gonna leave my job. Like, I'm not gonna lose
Doesn't
it.
that
Like,
make
these people don't
you
give a
just
shit.
really stupid?
What?
Doesn't that make you just really stupid?
Hang on.
I got job
well,
security.
so-
I got nothing to worry about.
Yeah, my
But
job
so-
doesn't worry about
that-
fucking what I talk about.
that position suggests that I'm very stupid for showing my face on the internet and espousing my positions. Yet, if I was on the left of politics, that I wouldn't be very stupid for doing the same thing.
No, I would say that still. I would say just being political, like being openly voiced with your political views whilst holding jobs is very risky, regardless of what spectrum you're on.
Well, no, I think culturally like, this is not me bashing the left, but I do think culturally it's more acceptable for someone to have left-leaning positions and be public, whereas someone on the right of politics, it's far more risky. And I think you could agree with that.
Well, what does that say about the politics of the country or the global? Like, what I'm trying to say is, what does that say about, like, how sad is that where you have an opinion which is contrary to popular opinion, to where you get crucified for it? Like, it's really sad.
But saying that, being a like slightly leaning lefty on Twitter, you get fucking blitzed. You get fucking roasted every fucking time you have like a sort of lefty view. You get roasted.
What do you think about
Hey, dude,
looking
we
at
get-
what you think?
Well, actually,
I think that's just having an opinion on the internet.
You're like,
I'd like to hear Sturkor's point on this.
Okay, go ahead.
You get roasted as fuck, and whenever you bring out a video that's sort of like decrying the right, you get bombed with dislikes for like forever. And then when you bring out new videos, your channel's just being marked as one of those channels that everyone should flag.
Well, I mean,
Okay,
that's the same thing that happens on the right.
okay,
It's the same thing that happens on the right.
Hang on, just like, can I ask? Because I know that we've had our disagreements about centrism, but regardless of our disagreements about centrism, you do strike me as a very centrist person. Like, you don't strike me as someone who's on the hardcore left or particularly disagreeable.
Well, I can tell you where I stand. It's just that I'm taking up the mantle for the left because it's too easy to be on the right at the moment.
Yeah, well, you've told me.
And everybody's pot now, aren't you?
I can give you an example. Like,
okay, all right. Give me an example, but then I want to make the point that I was going to make. So give me an example.
The funniest thing I find, and I know I'm going to bring the Carl of Swindon in here, but like, he's my reference point. You know, Carl of this Sargon of Akkad. He's a reference point, just a reference point.
Yes.
I'd love to get Sargon on here. I'd love to get him on here.
He swears just the right amount. He's perfect.
But here's my beef with that guy is that every argument he has is bashing the left and using SJWs as a scapegoat. Like,
hang on, can I just interject for 1 second?
Yeah.
You do realize Sargon's from the left.
He's not, though.
He's a left-leaning libertarian, as in he's a centrist who leans to the left. So that goes back to our general argument of left centrist with the point.
Sargon's a lefty, man.
No,
Sargon is a lefty.
Dude, he claims to be, but his delusion versus reality doesn't match up.
Okay, all right.
So why would you call yourself a lefty if you voted right 3 times in a row?
Well, maybe the left.
So I think
that's a simple explanation.
All right, I think the conversation you and I are going down, or the road that you and I are going down right now, has become fractured. But Sargon is. Sargon's a lefty. Yeah, of course, 100%. 100%.
Like, the reference point with Sargon and the left and everything like that is that I was bringing up an example of where the left arguments are being ignored in favor of bashing the left and always making it about social justice warriors. Is that despite Sargon voting for Theresa May, who's the right-wing candidate in our country, she's also pro wage gap. She's also pro age gap. She's also pro race gap. So she that gets completely ignored. There's also the Tory fraud calling centres, which set up centres to influence voters that didn't get reported on. There's so many other things that just I've got fucking like a whole browser tab with 60 different article links that haven't been touched because of it's all been about SJWs and ignoring left arguments. I've got so much shit that I could produce videos on. It's unbelievable.
Okay, well, look, I think I just want to rewind for a second, but I think that there is this left and right split where the right will label anyone on the left as an SJW, and the left will label anyone on the right as a far-right Nazi.
I think there's a difference. I think there's a difference. I think
no. But you did bring that up. You sort of touched on
The differential would be that the Nazis is a much more extreme.
No. I'm not going to have a discussion about, National Socialism or any of that sort of stuff. I'm purely and exclusively talking about labels.
Yeah, sure. I'm saying in the equivalency that calling someone a Nazi is much more of an extreme accusation than SJW, as well as the SJW thing. That no one can decide on the terminology. It's like proving biblical truth to me. It doesn't. It's like if you haven't got a definition that everyone agrees to, then it's useless. So I don't find the term SJW actually useful. It doesn't describe anything because everyone's got their own definition.
Yeah, well, I mean, the same could be applied equally to the other side.
Well, if you've got because if you've got a Nazi, someone who's espousing anti-Semitic.
No. You must realize and you must understand. I mean, you're a very smart person. I can tell you're a very smart person, but you surely must realize that socialism or National Socialism and fascism is all left wing. And so labeling people of the right as Nazis and fascists,
me personally,
is utterly ridiculous.
Well, it's the same when the right label extreme lefties as Antifa, when
no. Extreme lefties label themselves as Antifa.
Not the case. Not the case.
What do you mean not the case? Extreme lefties proclaim themselves to be Antifa. Not all of them. Okay, so we can use the label like hashtag not all. Hashtag not all white people, hashtag not all Muslims, hashtag not all Antifa. But no, seriously, they label themselves as Antifa.
But what I was trying to get at with the Antifa thing is that people often forget that the Antifa thing stemmed in anarchism, not left policies. And that doesn't apply to being on the left spectrum. And then you've got people being recruited into Antifa by the left because of their disapproval with Donald Trump.
Yeah, but hang on, aren't there two different anarchist movements? One's left and one's right. Aren't there anarcho-capitalists and anarcho-communists? One's
both
yellow, one's red.
They're both equally bad. Like, dang.
Yeah, but they're still.
No. One of them's way crazier than the other.
They're still joined in. They're still joined by the hip by the main concept of anarchism. They would rebel against any government, left or right.
Yeah, no, I read a couple of things on it, and yeah, they didn't like each other at all. From what I read,
they probably don't like each other because they're still because their anarchy is different from the other person's anarchy, so they have to fight each other for the anarchy to be supreme. It's fucking weird and bollocks. The whole thing is that their anarchy has to be better than the other person's anarchy, and that anarchy has to be better than the government.
Well, as far as I'm aware, the anarcho-capitalists see themselves as purer because they've got chaosistic principles. Like they're free market, but chaos of the free market. And they see the yellow guys as just like, yeah, you're just chaos rabble. You just chaos for the sake of it. That was the takeaway I got from it. But that was from one of the anarcho-capitalists describing the other guys. I haven't read in the reverse.
But the thing is that I'm having a little moan about is that a lot of people often equate Antifa to being a left organization when actually, in fact, it's based on anarchism. And it might have
Antifa is a left organization. I will say this without hatred of the left. Antifa is a left organization.
It is.
This is
always
not,
over there.
I really want to cement. What I'm saying here. Antifa is a left organization, and hey, I've got a lot of friends on the left, and I'm also a person who leans socially left. So this is not a left bashing brigade. I only use the term left in political shorthand because it's a lot easier. But Antifa, left. Just lap it up. Deal with it. Deal with it, darling. Deal with it, darling. Deal with it, honey. I mean, you know what? We can hug it out afterward, but Antifa is left-leaning. It's as simple as that.
Well, I haven't seen much proof for that, though.
Oh.
Jesus Christ!
Wait, what? Oh, I don't know.
What?
Again, like these people
Okay,
use
all right.
authoritarian tactics to silence the other side's freedom of speech. If we're talking about in America, and how is that?
Harry, we're talking about Antifa everywhere. Like, we can talk about G20 if you want.
They do that everywhere. Well, look what happened at the G20 summit in what was it, Hamburg? I think it was Hamburg.
Hamburg.
Yeah, the black bloc like came in and completely turned the entire city into a war zone because they didn't like what was being said at the summit. Like this is the antithesis of the destruction of free speech and of the implementation of mob rule.
Yes,
like, is this not fascist? I mean, what is it?
I'm asking the question: why do they represent the left?
Because fascism, just like
because
left-wing ideology.
Well, hang on, don't they punch Nazis and aren't Nazis on the right? If you're punching right, aren't you from the left?
No. Nazis aren't on the right.
Nazism is a left-wing ideology.
National Socialism.
No, not according to Antifa. That's the thing.
Well, they don't know their history. They don't know their history.
Okay, so
if you don't know, if you don't learn history, you are doomed to repeat it. If you don't learn history, you are doomed to repeat it.
Yeah, and so the salute is. Look at that! I'm literally a Nazi right now.
Say Heil! Ja, jawohl! How many? That's 2 streams in a row. People can just call me a Nazi from 2 streams in a row now.
Just for your information, that is illegal in Germany.
Which is nuts. Which is crazy.
Yeah, but you know what's illegal in Britain? You know what's illegal in Britain? Teaching your girls dog friend the Nazi salute. You've seen that one?
Oh God, that was actually really cute.
That's not in Britain.
I know him through a friend.
That's not in Britain.
That's in Scotland.
Yeah. And you know what really pisses me off about that is because all the dude was doing was his girlfriend's dog pissed him off or whatever, and it was like, what is the worst thing? Like, and he was like, what is the most reprehensible thing that could be done? What is the thing that everyone hates the most?
12 out of 10 for creativity.
And he decided to try and get the dog to do a Sieg Heil.
Just Simon's doing right now. He wants his dog to do a Sieg Heil so bad.
What do you think, Charlie?
The thing was he knew the worst thing in the world was to be a Nazi.
I will be right back. Hold that thought.
You want a fucking round of applause, Harry?
He wants that trophy. Maybe a cookie.
Hey, Nicole.
What's
Nicole.
up?
It's have to say, you know, Harry with his whole, like, I'm going to be here, I'm going to be back, you know, blah, blah, blah. He's turning into a bit of, like, he's getting power trip, isn't he, Nicole? Like, he's just sort of like, I'm the puppet master, you're my minions. And, quite frankly...
Either that or he's a compulsive masturbator and he keeps having to go and take care of it.
He's looking at my porn, isn't he?
I do think that.
He is.
I do. And do you know what the really sad thing is about all of this?
Hmm.
He's just like, oh yeah, I'm getting married, I'm engaged, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, you've got a roll of Kleenex and you're just, you're working off a 90-degree angle every couple of hours.
Hey, who are we to judge his relationship with his body pillow?
Or with his sock.
He's probably got a flashlight upside down under his desk.
I've never needed one of those. Never needed.
Okay, all right. Can who here can hack Harry's Twitter account to change it from Harry the Swamp Cleaner to Harry the Masturbator?
Well, why not go whole hog and just go Harry Masturbator? You could probably even leave it as Harry. People will get it.
No, you got to throw in the eye. I mean, if you're gonna do it right.
The concept of a flashlight, though, you have to think about cleaning it afterwards.
Oh, I know. Oh, it's like show me a tampon. I don't want to think about that.
What did I miss? What did I miss? I was just getting a drink. What did I miss?
Hey, can I bring this in? Can I bring this in? Harry.
Yeah.
We know all about you, Harry.
Yeah, I was just talking to my fiance. She's just like, I've been watching. I just got up and I was watching your stream, and just like, go back downstairs and keep talking. So I'm like,
yeah, no, that's really good that she sent you down here because.
Well, she's actually, from what I interpreted is she's super pissed that I've been up all night talking to just people.
Yeah, okay. Well, she's going to be even more angry right now. Hey,
wait till she finds out you've been talking to lefties, dude. You're in trouble.
Oh yeah, she hates the lefties. She's just like just kick their ass and just get them out of here.
Okay, all right. Well, just we're with friends right now and the rest of the internet, but don't disregard the rest of the internet. I just want to say, Harry, we're all here for you, man. We know that you've got a problem. We know that you're compulsive in your actions. We
Is
know
this like an inside joke now? What's going on?
No, this is just one friend talking to another friend and maybe 3 other people here and the rest of the world. It's okay, man. It's okay. I know that you can't help what you do.
Basically, Harry, this is an insemination intervention you're going through right now.
I'm missing the point here. I know Insanity is laughing her ass off, and I'm missing it.
Harry, let me talk to you. Let me talk to you right now. Let me talk to you. Let me talk to you.
This is a seminal social media moment.
We don't think we missed the point. I think you got the point right on target.
I just Harry.
We just need to.
As one of your friends, man. As one of your friends, I just want to say, it's not healthy.
Clean your flashlight.
It's not healthy. It's not healthy what you're doing. I know.
Okay, I'm missing the point here, and I'm sure that's going to make more.
Okay, all right. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to talk to you one-on-one. Everyone, silence, please. I need silence. I just need to talk to my friend.
I'm going to go boom up. I'm laughing too much.
Harry, where are you, bro?
Sturcore, you need to leave. All right, it's good to talk to you if you need to leave, yo.
No, Sturcore, stay around for about 30 more seconds.
You sound like an Irish drunk.
Yeah, you sound like a fucking old Asian man, you fucking cultural appropriator. Fucking Asian cunt.
Send me your Sturcore, send me your Twitter link, and drop me a like. I'll definitely follow you back.
It's in the chat.
I can see it.
Harry.
Yes.
Harry.
What?
Harry. Dude. We all know that you're sneaking off the mat.
You can't
We all
even...
know you sneak. We all know you're sneaking off to masturbate, and it's fine. It's okay. We're just worried about the fact that you might have friction burn at this point.
I was thinking the same thing.
I need to take some Advil to lower the freaking amount of inflammation I have.
Do you have elephant dick yet? As he puts his glass down. Acknowledgement.
Elephant balls would be more like it, but
Oh shit, Harry, stop masturbating so much, bro. We're all concerned, man.
You have a spouse. You must be neglecting her so
well,
badly.
after next month, I'll have to be masturbating on a daily basis. You know.
Especially after you talk to someone who's slightly left.
Hang on, so you're actually going to lower the rate of your masturbation next month?
Come again? What?
You're going to lower the rate of your masturbation next month?
Do you get a fleshlight with your super male vitality?
That would be a great gift. That would be a great gift. As long as Hurricane Irma doesn't destroy Disney, I should be in the good.
Is it
You're going to go and masturbate at Disney?
Now he's getting off the Minnie Mouse, so...
It's like, oh, Minnie, I love that little, like, skirt and that little, like, petticoat you got underneath there. Let's go.
You want to stick it between her ears, don't you?
Yeah.
That isn't the main concern. That isn't the main concern, being at Disneyland in front of loads of kids.
There's a locker room.
There's like
private hotel room. I've booked for a private hotel room, so it's got to be private. Hell yeah!
Can you imagine, like, Harry walks into Disneyland and he just starts whacking off, and he's like, "Hey, I'm the swamp cleaner."
I've just got a compulsion to clean everything.
Well, Disneyland is built on the swamp, so what am I supposed to do?
Well, don't start spraying your jizz everywhere. That'd be a start.
I don't need window cleaner.
I'm the swamp cleaner, bitch. Oh, the stream has degenerated into just hyperbole, but that's all good.
I think it's because most of you are drunk.
This stream is degenerated into exactly.
And I'm a
what
How
degenerate,
much have I
so-
drank today? Okay, this is like my fourth Jaeger bomb. I've had like 2 beers. I'm probably not gonna remember like Sturcor's name by the end of this. Like shit.
His name's not Circor anymore, it's Porn Star.
Okay.
From now on,
well,
that is all I will
sent me a
refer to him
link.
as.
He sent me a link, and I should follow that link probably. But
And your name is Jizzmaster Harry.
So,
you
can
know
I
what?
just
That
can
you
I
know
just
what?
point
That
out something, guys?
we should make
how
that
many of
trend.
you?
Jizz
How many of
Master
you know?
Cleaner.
How many of you know a famous Asian male porn star? Just a question.
No, I do not.
I don't care. His name has to be Ron Jeremy. His name has to be Ron Jeremy, or I don't care.
I'm gonna Google this.
Now we know what Simon does in his race car chair. He looks up famous male Asian porn stars.
I reckon Simon, if Simon got like one of those VR goggles, we know he'd be rocking back and forward, right?
Dick Ho. Dick Ho is a famous male Asian porn star.
All right, let's get back on topic. All right, let's.
Here we go.
Okay. Regardless of what we were talking about, let's talk about the crazy liberal reactions to Hurricane Irma. Let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about everybody who voted for Trump, everybody who voted in Florida, or everybody who voted in Florida or Georgia for Trump to die.
I just think it's kind of funny that they named like a hurricane after a period. Because of, like, that's what you say in England. They say, oh, in the olden days, like wartime stuff, they would say, oh, you know, I'm going to see Auntie Irma, which is basically saying I'm on my period.
Well, she is a raging bitch. She is the biggest bitch we've seen in a while. She's the largest hurricane we've seen in a while. And some women just have some heavy flows sometimes, you know?
I'm sorry.
Oh, fuck! Happy with you, bro.
She's already bled out all over Barbados.
Well, the island nation of Barduba or Barbuda has been like 90% destroyed by this bitch. So
It's like 95.
yeah.
So
like,
hang on.
like,
Has anyone noticed that there's like a big tampon-sized hole in the middle of this thing? I mean, why don't we just do the obvious?
Why just plug it up?
Just fucking plug it.
I hadn't considered that. Okay, I'll get right on that.
Trump, you got those weather weapons, right? Trump, just like drop them down there and freaking like end this thing.
It's gonna work if you get the maxi pad material. It's just
super maximum absorption. Super maximum absorption.
Like that's what.
Somebody call Tampax. Get on this.
But oh wait, you can't because the EPA's been completely fucking trashed.
The environmental
FEMA's got its hand tied with like Hurricane Harvey relief, so FEMA isn't going to help anything. So
yeah, well, I really think this could be the next feminist issue.
What, like how like hurricanes are named after. The hurricanes that are named after women are more devastating than the ones named after
They're
men.
already talking about it.
Yes, I know, yeah.
But, I mean, that's just asking for trouble. We call them all women in Australia. We start at A and we go through. That's just so
back
sexist.
Back in the 80s, they dropped that whole sexism argument and they gave hurricanes male and female names. But during the 60s and 70s, they were all female because, you know, females were the cause of all trouble back then, so might as well call the hurricanes female.
Yeah, well, we still have it over here. You know, the patriarchy run this country.
Fuck your patriarchy, you freaking chauvinist pig, you.
I was just thinking that like Auntie Irma was like one of probably the earliest dog whistles women ever had.
Why do you think we've been so worried about this one for like a week or so? Everybody's leaving the state because Auntie Irma's coming around.
I'm just cracking my hip. It's cracking.
Fucking old Asian man. Why don't you fucking practice some Tai Chi?
You know what I love to play on the Xbox 360?
Do you wanna know
like
kind of
what was that game called? Like
Hang on, fuck your white privilege, Harry. The Asian man wants to talk to me.
Damn it, I forgot. I'm sorry. Damn it.
You know what's kind of funny? I used to teach Tai Chi.
Of course you did, Mr. Miyagi. Fuck off now. Harry, talk.
What was that game on Xbox 360? Like Age of Empires, like giant, like
Was that the one where you wiped out Asian people?
Well, like you play as like a guy who had his like village destroyed by like the Black Hand or like the Open Palm, and like you had to decide whether or not you're going to be bad or good. And it's all through like an Asian filter of dialect, and it's pretty cool. I love that game. What's that game called? Does anybody know what that game is called, or what I'm talking about?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You know what that's called? You know what that's called?
Cultural appropriation. Cultural.
No, you know what that's called?
It's called plugging your flashlight.
Yeah. It's called everyone else on this group chat has lost their virginity.
I'm about to get married. You think I'm a virgin?
Well, it depends on how Christian you are.
I've been Christian for the past like 6 months, so.
Oh wow!
Also, you're a born again virgin.
Yes, I was naked like 6.5 months ago, and I woke up in a bathtub. Yeah.
Jesus. Do you really think your wife to be would like to hear about your previous sexy kink games?
Well, hopefully she's still asleep right now, but Oh
But I'm
no,
gonna go
she
and
might
choose under
be.
again
She
in a
might be
minute and
listening in right now.
No, she heard Fleshlight and she stuck around.
She's like,
And she was like,
Where's
at least I don't have to put in so much work.
where's my attention? But yeah, you must like being Christian for 6 months. You must have like balls the size of fucking elephants. You're just like, oh my god, I can't do it until I'm married. Oh.
Those balls are full of the Lord's Prayer.
See, I don't consider myself a Christian. I just consider myself, now that I look at the bigger picture, I consider myself a person of the Christian faith, even though that is an umbrella term. I used to be okay. I'm trying to be serious. Before
I want to be serious.
between the year,
I have a legitimate question.
Okay, no. Well, let me just say this: before I was 15 years old, I didn't really have any consideration of religion. But from 15 to like 21, I was just like, well, religion is a crock of shit. Like, I don't really care about that. But after 21, I'm just like, well, there's more to religion than the physical understanding that there is a God.
Right.
There's also a personal individual. There's also a personal individual look on religion, and I take an individual approach to religion, and I choose God, not Allah or some other bullshit as my religion. I choose God as my God, and I will talk to him whenever I want to outside of religion, because you don't need to have religion to talk to God. So I consider myself a religious person, but as an individualist, but not as like under the cult of like evangelical or Catholic or Christian or whatever crap you want to like.
So basically.
So my only question was, and I'll let Simon have a go. I'll let Simon, just have a little bit of play around with you afterwards. I know Simon likes to have a little
play
bit
with
of play
me,
around.
please. Play with me. I love to play with me.
Fantastic. I love how heterosexual men who are about to get married, just become experimental in the last living days of being single. All I was going to say was umbrella LAAA.
Guys, you really need to check the link that I sent out in the group chat.
Yeah, well, I really need to just not look at Harry's hairline part anymore, but go to the bathroom.
You need to click that link. It just has to happen.
Jesus Christ! If this is going to be like some sort of Harry, what are you doing, bro?
I kind of spilled my drink all over my keyboard, so don't worry about
it. It's happened to the best of us, brother. I'll send you a
Give me
keyboard.
2 seconds, I'll be right back. I need to get some freaking tissues.
Jesus Christ, this fucking live stream is fucking good,
Spilled
man.
his drink. Yeah, where have I heard that before? We all know what it was, Harry. Disgusting individual.
So Harry, what you're basically saying is that you have an imaginary friend.
Hey, Mrs. Palmer's real, dude.
Oh, Jesus. Hey, Nicole.
Huh?
How glad are you that you jumped on this live stream?
Oh, I couldn't be happier.
Hell yeah.
Did you check out the video? I sent you a video.
I saw the title. Oh, God.
All right, I'll be back. You guys are fucking degenerates.
Yes, I am.
No, not you. Not you, Nicole. Just Harry.
Oh, I
Harry,
mean him. Oh, good.
Oh no, you're exempt. Harry's the sick masturbator. Here we go. All right. I have live footage of a masturbator in his den
I'm waiting.
reaching for tissues.
I mean, for sick.
He's preparing.
You guys can suck my dick.
Well, I might save
Damn,
the
I got
keyboard next
freaking
time.
like Jägermeister all over my goddamn keyboard. You guys
Sure,
can suck my dick.
Jägermeister.
Is
Yeah.
that what you call? Is that what you call jism?
Ha ha
Yeah,
ha
that means he's
ha
been
ha.
drinking it all night.
Damn.
Oh, Nicole, that sounds so bad that he's been drinking Jägermeister, which is jism all night.
Oh, he's probably been bombing it.
My crew is
Oh, fuck.
Well, my freaking like shit's all skewed because I gotta clean it out from underneath my freaking like laptop freaking like shit. Like, damn it! I got my like my codes to get my shit done on like Battlefront, Call of Duty. Like shit is all fucking like. Look at this. It's all like weighed out on like alcohol. Damn it.
Alcohol.
Simon.
We totally believe you.
Thanks, Nicole. Thank you.
Are you watching that bit?
Jesus Christ, man. Are you shooting like Ron Jeremy loads there, bro?
I wish I was. Damn. Or
I thought Starcore was the porn
up.
star.
I'm almost back up to like running speed, but I need to get another drink because I spilled like half of it on my keyboard.
My crew keeps getting bigger because Jesus Christ, this my nigga.
He just needs 13 more seconds of that flashlight.
Yeah, like I need like half a minute to get like re-amped up, okay? And then I can like.
I gotta say, Harry, gonna give big shout out to Llama. Big shout out to Llama.
Hey,
Trump
Llama Storm, Llama Storm.
Llama Storm. That's our friend Trump Llama Storm, and yeah, she said
Desert Princess.
Desert Princess die. We got to give a shout out to Totally Biased. We got to give a shout out to Bobby Axelbot.
Yeah, Bobby Axelrod. We need to give a shout out
Bobby
to
Axelbot.
Bobby Axelbot. All right, yeah, we
Bobby
need to give a
Axelbot,
shout out to Desert Princess, Llama Storm, Rubber Dorky.
We got to give a
Fat-
shout out to
Big Fat
Kira
Brian,
Savage.
Big Fat Brian, Cernovich, Owen Schroyer, all of them.
Dude, I
guys.
thought we were just talking about our crew, man.
Well, hey, our crew is the crew who is running.
Well, let's give a group shout out to our crew, all right? So
Now, Jesus Christ.
we'll just give a group shout out to our crew. I'll do it right now. So big shout outs to Totally Biased, Nathan M. Millett, Translation Goat.
Oh, I love Translation Goat. Yeah.
Translation Goat. We're gonna give a shout out to Base Camel, Curtis Sanson, Desert Princess Die, Love You Die, Hollywood Stinks, Donna Shelley. We're gonna give a shout out to Bobby Axelbot. Bob Axelbot. I love the change of name. Trump Llama Storm. Kira Savage, and I think that's about it for our group. So yeah, big shout outs to all the animal names.
All of them, yeah.
All the animal names, man. Big shout outs to MAGA, making America great again, making Australia great again. Trump is the God Emperor.
God Emperor for life.
God Emperor for life. President of not just the greatest Western nation in the world, North America, who we all look to for light, at life, liberty, but
Justice for
also
all.
the world. And as far as Greg Gutfeld and myself are concerned, Trump should be the president of the universe.
Heck yeah. Okay.
Like my father says, they will be
Tucker
building.
Carlson, Tucker. Hey, Tucker.
Like my father says, they will be building statues for the great man. They will build statues for the great man. So.
I gotta go. See you later.
Later.
Oh, too much Trump talk.
See you, Sturcore.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Sturkle, man.
Yeah. Send me
communicate
that
on
link
Twitter,
again.
right?
Send me that link again to your Twitter so I can add you. All right.
Okay. But
Alright.
Hey, Sturkle.
yeah.
We'll promise you that Harry won't masturbate too much.
Well, I gotta grab a few more tissues to clean up my
Chisholm.
desktop here.
Just go get a damn sock already.
Okay, I'll grab that sock. I'll be right back. I'll grab that
Harry,
sock.
if you need, Harry,
I'll be right back. All right.
Harry, if you need extra help, I'm always under the section midget porn.
Okay, yeah, that's a good director to have. Midget porn, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, found ya.
I'll be right back, guys. I'm gonna just like wipe my shit down.
Jesus Christ, this my nigga. He's the original G. I fucking love that tune. Like, have you guys seen Rapping for Jesus?
Yeah, I have seen it before, actually. I just watched the first few seconds and clicked through, and I was like, oh, yeah, I remember this. Cringe.
Tell Harry that he's inventing an invisible friend because I care for him. Because I don't want him to become a schizophrenic like most religious people.
The best bonding moments seem to be when he steps off camera.
Yeah, it's because he's a cock block. I've got to go to the fucking post office and walk for about a mile. That's gonna be fun. And I've got to get some cereal in before I go as well. So yeah, I've got to go now. I've got to see you.
Alright, bye.
All right, dude. Good to meet you. Take it easy.
Yes, it's nice to meet you. By the way, I'm not really a political guy. I just find this whole thing amusing.
Oh, well, I wasn't terribly political until about 10 years ago. They started going a bit stupid here, but before then I was just like, oh, I don't care. They're all idiots. But now I'm a bit more annoyed about it.
Haven't you found the 90s was a lot more fun? And now it's just all about politics and extreme views. It's fucking weird.
Yeah. Like in Australia, it's a bit political and a partisan point I'm about to make, but we had a particular prime minister who fucked what we like to call the backyard barbecue political conversation, which is where you kind of, slightly go political, but because we're Australians and it's just such an awesome place to do anything other than work or politics, we like to just hang around and do shit, and so we kept it really light, and most of the time we're just hanging shit on both sides and everyone's laughing, and now that conversation just doesn't start anymore because there'll be a fight, and that's what I really don't like about where politics has gone. But I think that's probably worldwide, but in particular in Australia, it's got pretty nasty, and there was one particular prime minister who just loved the class war to bits, and she played it for all she was worth, and she's really split us up. And since then, well, now everybody's dug in and taken a side, so nobody listens, nobody talks. And
do you know who I blame and what I blame? I blame Gamergate, I blame the internet, and I blame people like Sargon.
I think it started way before then.
No. I think the identity politics thing. I don't know, because I think there's a case to be said that Sargon's exacerbated it and made it.
Oh, he probably has, But that was the thing to do when Gamergate started: jump on and rage,
Yeah, but
And maybe he got a bit carried away with it, but I still, I listened to him a lot, and I accept what you. I'm not sure if it's your Tim saying before that he always goes after left. He absolutely does, but his justification is the left is so fucked at the moment. I'm going after them, and then when they stop being fucked, I'll notice the things about the right that are fucked, and I'll start going back after them. So, to a point, like I get your criticism, but I have to wait before I can join your side and say, yeah, I agree with that. I haven't seen enough yet.
But the thing that I find really funny is that he's been railing against the wage gap for 2 years, yet the Tory party endorses it.
Oh, you mean the Tory party believes it exists?
No, it believes it exists, and it's in the frickin' frickin' manifesto.
Yeah, I heard after Theresa May took over, and she was like riding high, and everyone's going, oh, she's going to cream it, and then she didn't, and I was like, I don't understand that. But what I heard was that the Tories dumped a whole bunch of like typical Tory stuff right at the last minute. Is that what happened?
No, they wrote the manifesto. The manifesto was very vague, and also they were putting in taxes left, right, and centre. That's the most vulnerable of our society, and that's the reason why everyone had a massive backlash.
Yeah, that's sort of something along the lines of what I heard. They went very traditional Tory late in the game, and people didn't like it.
But on top of that, not just late in the game, this has been a gradual thing that she's been trying to sell off the NHS to make it more American.
Gotcha.
And she's making it so hard for the NHS to work that it has to go private. Just because she wants it to be a for-profit thing, but she won't admit it publicly because it'd be bad PR.
Yeah. And ours is nowhere near it. Our Medicare levy, which is theoretically what pays for Medicare, is 1/3 of the cost of the system.
Well, I was just talking to my fiance, and she said that Disney World should be okay from this Category 5 hurricane that is going to come and wreak wholesale destruction onto the area.
Dude, you'll be fine masturbating there then.
Well, we are okay.
Just imagine how many women you could actually accidentally get pregnant if you did it in there.
Oh, dude, what
our honeymoon isn't supposed to be until October, so that should be a month after this hurricane. But Disneyland is going to take a direct hit from this crap. But a person who's worked there for years, a decade or two, he doesn't work there anymore. But my fiance follows him, says that they might take some damage, but before the hurricane, they move all the debris that is like able to be worthy of flying around and causing damage. They move it underground because they have tunnels all over Disney World, and they're able to put that shit all underground. So Disney World should be pretty good from getting hit by this hurricane.
Just a question: are they going to do the same thing with your sperm? Because I know that's going to be flying around the place with the amount that you whack off.
Hopefully, that's all going to enter my fiance's vagina. But
that's lovely. So you expect your fiance's vagina to catch your flying sperm?
It's so cute that you call it a vagina.
She's going to have to. Your fiance is going to have to run around Disney World with her legs open to catch your flying sperm. How fucking romantic.
Hey, Harry, can I ask you a question? Are you going to take your hand off it first?
What you could do, Harry, what you could do is you could go on a ride with your spouse, with your wife, get her legs open on the ride, jack off, and then wait for the loop-de-loop.
Hey, Harry, just do it on the Pirates of the Caribbean because you get splashed a lot on there anyway. No one will notice.
Oh, by the way, guys, I want you to check this, and then I'm out. I'm sending you a hot take. Check that hot take out.
Oh, I love hot takes.
Jesus Christ! If this has anything to do with Harry's sperm, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Hot takes are like the new that escalated quickly.
Oh, look, none of us agree with Tara McCarthy, so it's fine.
No, I'm just saying it's fucking hilarious and fucking dumb.
Yeah, no, I've got no time for Tara McCarthy. I've got no time for that fucking, yeah, yeah.
Do you want to know how petty these people are? They set up Patreon. Patreon. HATREON.
Oh, you're
Yeah. I'm aware.
Oh.
I'm aware. Hey, I'm aware of Patreon. Yeah. Patreon came about after Lauren Southern was dropped from Patreon. I'm aware of that, and it was all sort of Tara McCarthy and Based whoever and Brittany Pettibone, etc. Yeah.
I thought that was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh man, imagine being so petty that you can't stand Patreon, but you have to set up your own, but then no one's going to pay you on it.
Look at all this extra. Look at all this extra, like.
It was reactionary, dude.
All my lube.
Stir. It was reactionary. I think at this point we just need to ignore Harry. I think that he's in a masturbatory cycle, and
this is time of the hour, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I think the best thing that all of us
on the stroke of one.
Yeah. I think the best thing all of us can do as friends of Harry is to just sort of let him be and maybe just sort of continue our dialogue separate from him.
No, I'm here, motherfucker.
Yes, Harry, we're aware that you're here, but we're not going to engage with you. Okay, all right. So the grown-up's going to talk and the masturbatory.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to send Harry a care package, socks, and lube.
Yeah.
He's there to provide the baby batter for all those like infertile women. He's there just to like baby batter it out all the time.
Hey, he could start a company of his own.
I can hear a Bob Dylan song about Harry. It'll be something like, "This is the story of the hurricane."
Oh my god. Does it suck or does it blow?
I shouldn't have done that. I'm going to have to write the rest of that parody now.
Yes, you are.
It sounds like a David Brent song. It sounds like a David Brent song. From the
I'm halfway through mutating the Dream Police into the
don't
Tweet
laugh.
Police.
My lamp fell over and it literally broke.
See you later, guys. I'm off now for sure.
Hey, Sturcore.
Later, porn star.
Hey,
see you, dude.
Are we in touch with each other on Twitter, brother?
I don't know how intimate that is, but
he wants to touch your Twitter.
Dude,
let him.
Dude, I'm not Harry, man. Like, I'm not gonna like.
You're not gonna touch my Twitter.
No. Fuck you.
The man wants to touch your Twitter. Why would you object?
You're for gay marriage and shit like that. I mean, we could hook up.
If you touch his Twitter, find me there too.
Yeah, if you touch my Twitter, it sends you alerts and it makes you feel good.
It does make my phone vibrate.
Yeah, that'd be great. You can get one of those holsters.
All right, cool. I'll be blocking Sturcore, and hey, Nicole, we're no longer friends.
Shut up! You love me.
I do love you. I do love you, Nicole.
I've sent like you've
Where
got.
the hell else are you gonna get dragging something cars?
You got. I put my Twitter in the chat.
All right, cool. Hey, Sturcore, you should become friends with Nicole. She's really great. She's a good friend of mine, and she'll convince you to
see the light.
Inappropriate things to young Asian students on the train.
Right. Okay.
That's pretty much what she gets down with.
Are you?
Harry set the mood lighting. Harry, bro.
He he is.
I've set the lighting because my entire fucking shit has fallen off my freaking
Alright,
desktop,
see you later,
and I
guys.
got like
I'm off.
liquor all over the place.
All right, Stir. Good to speak to you, brother.
Yeah, take it easy.
All right, love
what-
you,
what-
love you.
Cheers, mate.
Watch out for the.
I am gonna have to get out of here too. Actually, I am starting to nod off, and I have to get up in 2 hours.
Get Harry some wipes on Amazon Prime.
I know, right?
I'm gonna go to the store tomorrow and get him a care package. Lots and lots of lube and socks.
Harry has plenty of wipes.
Like, look at this. All my notes for like all my previous videos are completely destroyed. All my notes are
dude.
completely liquor logged, and they're all
I'm sure
destroyed.
it's liquor. I'm sure it's liquor. Sure.
Oh, all right. And well, this conversation's fucking degenerated, hasn't it?
That explains why you call your wife's pussy a vagina. That explains everything.
I know, because it doesn't quite like match the criteria, does it?
I've never heard a guy talk about their woman's private bits as a vagina. That's just hilarious to me.
Ah, shit! I destroyed everything. Well, at least my desktop is clean. At least my desktop is clean. Shit.
It might
Smell like liquor, but everything is clean. I need to shower afterwards, but it's all good.
That's like, hang on, is that code? My desktop is clean. My desktop is clean. It might smell like liquor, and I have to shower afterwards.
It sounds like code.
And by desktop, do you mean like forehead on your penis?
Oh man!
We won't tell your fiance.
He's talking about the flashlight on top
I
of the
literally
desk.
destroyed everything. I got like liquor on my I've got liquor on my freaking cell phone. I got liquor on my laptop. Everywhere. It just spilled everywhere.
That's why you need socks. It'll catch it all.
Oh shit! Oh damn!
Oh, dude, I love you, bro, but there's no sympathy here.
You know, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking somebody's been jerking off boyfriends in the back of their very expensively upholstered parents' car.
Hey, it's my car.
Wish.
It's your car, Nicole. Harry, why are you jerking off your boyfriend's Nicole's family car?
Because they can't come any other way.
It's the smell of leather.
Yeah, that must be it.
It's the Christian thing to do.
Yeah, right? Shit. Damn. My shit is all
Sorry, it's the
fucked up.
Catholic thing to do. I always get that wrong.
Yeah, no penetration, purely hand action.
Damn, well, there was all my notes for all my previous videos. Well, I don't need those because those are my previous videos. You can all check them out at swampcleanerharry.com. Shameless plug. Shameless plug.
Well, I'm off for the night. Follow me on Twitter.
Yep.
Bye, guys.
That is what's your Twitter handle, Nicole? What's the number?
Nicole22185.
Nicole22185. Everybody who is here, subscribe to Swamp Cleaner Harry. Check out that Twitter handle, Nicole22185. I guarantee you will not be missing out on anything. So check out that Twitter handle right now.
Nicole, before you go, Harry, can you call out Nicole's Twitter handle like it was a phone sex line, because I could.
Everybody dial NICOLE 22185 and you will not be disappointed.
I'll be here all night.
All night. She will answer your questions. She will talk you to your dreams. She will make you feel like a man. She will make you feel like a man again. Go ahead and dial 1-800 NICOLE 28155.
You can't even remember the damn numbers.
Can't even remember it.
Harry's shit-faced. Harry is shit-faced. I love this.
It's not Nicole 21855.
2218.
22815.
Nicole and some numbers. There you go.
All right. I will definitely do that the next time around. But I love you, Nicole. I love you, Nicole. We will definitely be on the next stream. You will definitely be on the next stream, and we will get your name down proper. I guarantee it.
Probably. I'm just
You've
going to
already
link
got
it
a
in your
name
freaking
down
Twitter.
proper. You just can't make us sound like a fucking phone hooker. Jesus Christ.
Bye, guys.
All right.
See you later.
Adios, insanity.
All right, so now it's down to the three bros, the
Amigos.
three amigos. Yes.
Which I'm gonna probably drop out very, very shortly.
I'm just hearing some slapping sounds going on here.
Yeah. He's masturbating.
Doesn't sound like a half bad idea because I got in about 2.5 hours. I got a Arsenal match to watch between Bournemouth and Arsenal FC.
All right. Well, in which case, I'm dropping out. You two boys can have a circle jerk with each other, and hey, I love it. Enjoy it. Thank you so much, Harry.
Yeah,
Appreciate
no
it,
problem.
brother.
We will
Hey,
definitely
man.
stream again in the next week. I want to make this a weekly stream so we can have people of the other side coming on, like Tim again, maybe Music Man Mike.
Tim's a good bloke.
Yeah,
Tim's
Tim is actually a really good guy. Like, he's from the left. He's got a left-wing mentality, but he is open to discussion. I love it. Music Man Mike, if we get Mike on here, he might not be the same because he's completely indoctrinated by the left-wing bullshit. But we will see. Hopefully we can get him on next stream. Maybe we can get bigger people like Sugar Tits or Bearing on. Who knows?
Who knows? But look, Tim's a great bloke. I really like him. And yeah, I had good fun. I mean, yeah, so it was good fun. Lots of hours again. Yeah, man. Look, I'll talk to you. We'll talk. Privately.
Oh yeah, definitely. We'll talk on DMs for sure. We'll figure out something.
Yeah, we'll DM.
Hey yo, you know what? I'm
so.
having my bachelor party for my wedding. My bachelor party is on Monday, so maybe we'll do like a bachelor party stream or something like that.
Oh, cool. I was just gonna say I can't. I was gonna say I can't make it for your bachelor party, brother.
No, that's going from like 2 p.m. Eastern to like whenever. So that's like 4 p.m. your time to when? No, 4 a.m. your time to whenever.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be in the morning, but definitely I'm gonna have a bunch of people over. We're gonna hang out. So last time I'm gonna hang out with like the man club, and then I'm gonna be constricted by the ball sack for the next century or so. So
yeah, well, I mean, you've already got that masturbation skill up to like par.
I know, right? Like all that
all
that shaky cam shit going on. Hell yeah.
Yeah, all right, man. Cool. Look, I'm there for the I'm there to bro down. All right. So, but we'll talk tomorrow anyway, brother. We'll talk to it. Talk tomorrow.
No problem. All right, guys.
All right.
Swamp Harry. This is with Chris Logic Media and Simon.
My man. Simon, talk.
Yeah, Simon. what is your Twitter? No, it's gonna be.
Everyone knows Simon's Twitter handle, man.
Yeah,
Simon's gonna be able to say goodbye.
It's Simrob72. That's SIM ROB72. If you guys don't know him already, give him a shout out, give him a follow, give him a like. Tell him that Swamp Cleaning Harry or Chris Logic sent you, and he will say, "All right, I will suck your dick because of that."
It'll be more like, oh god, those jizz masters. Jesus.
You're fucked, Harry. You're fucked.
I guarantee it.
You're
This is like I'm completely gone right now, so it doesn't even matter.
Oh, this is great, brother. I love you.
All right. Well, it was a great stream. It was good to chat with people of a different political opinion, and it was great to chat with you guys.
Quit while you're ahead. Just.
That's why I'm drinking this right now. Quit while I'm ahead.
Yeah. Best to cut this off now because you've been talking about toe sucking and dick sucking. So just quiet, my little angel. All right, this is over.
All right,
good night,
everybody. This is Swamp Cleaning Harry. This is Chris Logic Media. This is SimRob72 signing off. This has been a great stream. We'll catch you guys later.